guys. All right, we should be good to go. Everything looks like it's all systems go. I'm going to give it a minute.
Go.
And I'll send you guys to URL. You know, we got a little bit of a delayed start there, but I would imagine fighting zombies in a Call of Duty style cage match is a lot more important than fucking, you know, dealing with all this crap. Alright, let's see.
Indeed.
Copy video URL.
I fucking hate uploading avatars. I'm gonna go on a fucking 5-paragraph tirade on how uploading avatars is dog shit.
But it's not.
Alright.
They need... Uploading avatars is elder abuse for people like me.
Alright, you guys. Cool it. I posted the URL in the group chat, so... Yeah. So anyway. Hey, what's going on, you guys? Tujo Panda back in action. This is the Dead First Meet Part 5. Artasia unfortunately could not join us tonight, but we got Maxwell Rogers and Cyber Pimp, both very good friends of mine. So how are you all doing tonight?
Yo, it's good in the hood.
Okay, so I think we should address the elephant in the room. Guess who came back to the furry fandom recently? It's a very special person, a very special individual that I think would touch our hearts and minds in more ways than we could possibly imagine. Anybody in the audience want to take a wild guess? Or do you guys want to guess?
Is it Mary Poppins?
No, unfortunately, this is not one of your childhood memories. Sorry, Cyberpimp.
Damn.
But
Got him.
I will just go ahead and say this person basically caused a bit of a divide in the furry fandom, you know? And it really brought to light a lot of the darkness and despair that sort of lurks in the shadows. And you have to wonder sometimes, like, I'm of the belief that human beings are fundamentally good, you know? And you guys can disagree with me on that if you want, but I know. But well, Maxwell, look at me, bud. Only positive vibes here, okay? I promise. Only fucking positive
I
vibes.
didn't say anything. I just giggled.
All right. Well, listen.
I'm just a fox.
So what if I told you that there was a furry out there called Radiance? Radiance.
That already just sounds bad.
No, it's amazing,
Sounds
man.
like a new launch of graphics cards.
Okay.
There's a new AMD Radiance, guys.
The new AMD Radiance. Okay, back order that shit. We got chip shortage, but we're slowly working through that.
That's copyrighted, by the way.
Yeah.
Original idea, do not steal.
Yeah, it all belongs to Cyberpimp. Me and Max are going to license off of him.
Too.
It's what? A graphics card is a closed species too?
God.
What? Okay. All right. You know what? I don't think it's going to like fucking compete with a Protogen or Retrogen or whatever you want to call them these days. But okay, so I'm just gonna cut through the bullshit. Kira the Wolf is back in action, and he's rebranding his entire channel. Everything about him is going to be rebranded, starting like several days ago when I first posted on the community tab. And yeah, Kira the Wolf, he's certainly an individual that requires no introduction because most of you probably already have heard just about everybody under the sun talk about this guy. But in spite of it all, one man, one desire. He's willing to throw just about anybody he knows under the bus because he wants that fucking clout. He's going to get it. And he's not going to let any of you guys, let alone me, him, or him.
Even me?
I was gonna like make an offer, like a hit, but anyway. So like, okay, so let me just go ahead and start from the top. Kira the Wolf, I'm not sure if you all remember, but basically he obviously got his big break when Shane Dawson interviewed him years ago. And I don't know if you remember the whole thing with Shane Dawson, but it's almost like shitty people attract shitty people, you know? Like you guys remember Shane Dawson, right?
Yeah. No, but I'll agree with you.
Well, thanks, Maxwell. Thanks for the vote of confidence.
Yeah.
You guys mind if I just take a short trip down... Oh, my left leg seceded from the union. You guys mind if I take a short trip down memory lane and just regale what I remember from back then to now? You guys mind terribly?
Yes, the good old days when gas was 89 cents a gallon.
I don't think we're going that far back, but you know, if that's where you want to
Not
go,
that far back. That's the bad part.
well, we can pretend it was.
What about when the Game Boy Pocket came out and it didn't quite fit in your pocket because it had 8 AA batteries in it?
Oh no. Okay, all right. All this to say, what I remember is that Kira the Wolf was kind of like a household name for a while there. And here's what's fucked up. Like, imagine for a second that, you know, Maxwell, imagine just like one day you have the opportunity to point somebody in my direction and just be like, yo, you need, like, one of you big dick fucking YouTubers out there, you need to check out my friend Tujo Panda. He's all about all of this, right? He's all about the YouTube scene. He wants to do this, that, and the other. You basically nudge me in the direction of this guy. He interviews me or does whatever, and it's like a big hit. I would at least owe like 25% of my popularity and fame after that, my growth, to you for pointing me in the right direction. Mm-hmm. That being stated, Ashley Zoe Fox, he's indirectly the reason, or I should say she, she's indirectly the reason why Kira the Wolf blew up like he did, because, you know, she, for a reason, was in contact with Shane Dawson, and Shane Dawson was like, I want to talk to a furry. And Ashley Zoe Fox was just like, well, my friend Kira the Wolf is about as standard as you'd get in the furry fandom. And that began his rise of fame. Well, we didn't know. We didn't know what would happen later. So, Kira the Wolf, he starts growing. He's getting big. He's getting big on YouTube. He's approaching 100,000 subscribers. But one day, I forget the furry's name, but there's one furry out there by the name of Pseudonym. And Pseudonym, he's been collecting all of this data and is just sort of like, okay, you know what? I'm going to drop this publicly and let whoever finds it, find it. And one furry did, and he spilled the beans. And the only reason Kira the Wolf's name got so much attention is because he was such a prolific, you know, popular YouTuber. Everybody else in that chat, like demons, they all just receded into the shadows because that's what demons do. They stick to the shadows. They don't come out because Big Bad Pimp over there would smash him over the head with a hammer if he could.
Hell yeah, you know it.
It's like a game of whack-a-mole almost. Like one appears and it's just like, and you know
they're out there in the darkness. I see them.
I seen them. You say that like a UFO say. It's like, oh, I seen them. They come down sometimes to steal cattle up here in PA. All right.
I tell you.
Okay. In all seriousness, though, the furry that found it all, he wasn't that prominent. He was just, you know, a typical like YouTuber. And a lot of people got angry at him that he would even dare just plop this data, all the chat logs and shit, just out in the open for anybody to access because he was indirectly creating drama. But I would say that, you know, should he have gone to the police? Yes, but maybe he didn't have the capabilities of doing that, you know? So he did what he could, and he's just like, yo, there's some fucked up shit going on in this chat room that I uncovered the leaks of. So the leaks happen, and basically what happens from there is that is a 3-ring circus, okay? Everybody's at each other's throats. You got people that no matter what evidence is pitched in their face, it's like, oh no, Kira the Wolf's not, he couldn't have possibly done all this. I know him. He's a good person. And I always question what skeletons people hide in their closets, you know? Like shit that they are guilty of doing back in the day. So, you know, already we're off to a rocky start. People are giving the guy who, like, spilled the beans about all this shit for spilling the beans, and he gets a lot of flack. What the chat logs actually contain are a ring of zoo sadists. These aren't just zoophiles, they're zoo sadists, as in they get sexual, yes, exactly. They get sexual gratification from torturing animals while they fuck them. Sorry to say. So anybody watching, I should probably give a trigger warning right now. This is not going to be wholesome 100, okay?
A little late, though.
A little bit, but I already... Listen.
Whoa, trigger warning, look out, whoa!
These kids need some goddamn life experience, motherfucker. Maybe the fucking internet isn't all lollipops, windows, and sunshine. Or rainbows, I should say, windows.
The internet's evil? I've never knew that.
These snozberries taste like snozberries.
I feel like the internet gives people like an excuse just to be shitty people by default. So like if you are a certain way IRL, like innocuous and stuff, you're slightly shittier for adopting a persona online and acting the way that you do. Some people, not all people, but some people. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I'm not sure. I'm gonna get you far.
You want to complete your comment there?
Well, I'm just a fox. Yeah, I'm just a fox.
Maxwell's trying to use that as
Good fox.
plausible deniability.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's fine.
Can't prove it. I'm just a fox.
All right. Well, anyway, all that happens, and like, here's what's important to note. Okay, people that haven't even bothered looking at the data, they haven't even looked at the evidence, they haven't really even assessed whether it was like good or bad or like, you know, questionable in any way. They automatically pick sides. He's absolutely guilty, he's absolutely innocent, and there's like a growing denomination of people that sort of like build up in the middle. They're just like, okay, well, let's at least look at it, and then we're going to pass judgment whether he's guilty or innocent, okay? Here's the problem. Are you guys curious as to how Kira the Wolf was acting while this was happening?
Mm-hmm.
Fire away.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Oh, okay. Well.
No, you go.
All right. Here's the problem, and this is why I feel like it was staged. Because, like, Kiro decided to put on, like, a little bit of a dog and pony show. Thankfully, not literally, because...
Multiple.
Yeah, that'd be gross. But anyway, what happens is he posts this on Twitter of all places, and he posts like screen caps of his Telegram getting hacked in quotes, and he's just like, "Oh wow, guys, I got locked out of my account. I'm scared," and like, I'm pretty sure you guys, if one of your accounts got compromised, you wouldn't be scared. You'd be pissed off, or you'd be like confused and just be like, what the fuck's going on here, you know?
Who the hell done stole my email? Something like that. Yeah.
Does it look like I know what a JPEG is?
See, Cyber, I want to imagine in real life you look like a young Hank Hill. Like, I just want to pretend as my own personal headcanon. Anyway,
Indeed.
Kira the Wolf puts on a little bit of a show.
I'm kicking your ass.
If I saw you walking down the street, I'd kick your ass so hard you'd be tasting shoe for a whole week. Anyway. So what ends up happening is Kira the Wolf puts on this little show and he posts the screen caps to Twitter. And here's the problem with that. Do you think these were organic screenshots that he took from his own device and posts online and just was like...
Fuck no. I mean, no.
Okay.
Sorry. I don't know if I should swear or not.
Oh, you're fine to swear. Just don't say any racial epithets
The fuck
or
no.
like anything like that. Hey, Will. Anyway, what's going on is people that are tech furs, like people that actually know what's going on and stuff like that, they start to analyze the screen caps, and one of them's like very, very, very like, you know, he knows what's up. He sort of like sees, he looks at the icons and he just points out, yo, I couldn't help but notice, but in one of these screen chats, you're using a VPN, as in that's like the notification for a VPN. And guess where the IP address ends up? Go ahead.
Well, do tell.
This is the
Pennsylvania.
no. It's a far off land, you know, far beyond the reach of mortal men.
China?
Jersey.
Okay. No, man. This is the birth of a meme, okay? Iranian super hackers. Yay or nay? Iranian super hackers.
Yeah, I heard about them. They're pretty good.
Okay. So, the Ayatollah of Iran, right? They take on, like, they take one of his speeches where he's addressing the crowds, and they replace the subtitles with shit that they made up. And it's just sort of like, he's like, you know, a month ago, a great charge was laying at the feet of this great nation, that we had hacked Kiro the Wolf. At first, we denied this charge, but we are no longer denying this charge. We did, in fact, hack Kiro the Wolf and his zoo crew. And I would just like to say, the hunt for Kiro the Wolf is now on. I remind you that furries get the bullet, and we have many bullets. And he just walks off the stage. I'm like,
I am not drunk enough for this.
It got deleted.
There's no honor among thieves.
It got deleted, but I downloaded a copy for myself because it brings a chuckle. But like, okay, so that's where the IP ended up, somewhere in Iran. And Kiro the Wolf acts like he's been hacked. He's like saying, "Oh, they got into my account and now they deleted everything." This is right before the leaks actually were released to the public. And so now people are like, they don't know who to believe, the chat logs or, Kiro the Wolf. And Kiro the Wolf stays quiet about it for a while until more and more evidence starts to come up online. There was like a picture of this dude having relations with an animal. I would like to spare the people in the chat right now any unpleasant imagery that might come to mind, but it's definitely not wholesome 100. And Kiro the Wolf, see, one thing I'd like to relay to you all is that throughout the duration of this entire story, there are many red herrings, many leads that go nowhere and stuff like that. So I say that because Kiro the Wolf, he basically grabs that piece of evidence and says, "It doesn't even look like me. That's not me. I don't have a chest tattoo." And it's like, people that know Kiro the Wolf, they know that that's not him. And that's not the issue. The issue is why he posted the screen caps that he did. So what ends up happening is he basically admits to the fact that he just grabbed a random screen cap online, and that causes a bit of a 3-ring circus. So what happened after that? Well, you wouldn't know this, but Cathorix. Do you guys remember who Cathorix is? The big blue gay dragon?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Cathorix was sort of a rising star here on YouTube because he was seen as a philosopher, an intellectual. Unfortunately, what would cause him to fall to the wayside is he defended Shota and Lolly as being fictional. Therefore, something that, it would be like me defending cub porn. Very controversial. You don't do that. There's too many layers to all this. Nothing's black or white. It's all in shades and gray. But that didn't happen until later. And he also got into some tiffs with some people, and people didn't really like him as much, but whatever. He's still kicking. I don't really respect him as much as I did during the whole Kiro the Wolf thing, but he was the closest thing that you're going to get to being a internet lawyer. It's like if Maxwell got into something and I'm vouching for him and I plead his case. In the court of public opinion, it'd be like that. Or maybe you, Cyber Pimp. But in the court of public opinion, you don't follow conventional rules. You follow logic and reason. And not all people are going to be following that. But here's the problem. Not only did Cathorix step in to offer to help Kiro the Wolf get to the bottom of all this, Ashley Zoe Fox also did as well. Here's the problem. One interview was given online, one interview was given in person, and they were hours apart. Kiro the Wolf said entirely different statements in both interviews. What's your reaction?
Shoddy be trifling.
Shoddy be trifling? All right.
Yep, must be from Dirty Docks.
All right. So here's what happens. He basically waffles on the point, are the chat logs real or are they fake? And what happens is he basically says, oh, they're all fake. All of them's fake. None of it's real, blah, 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 blah. And then he waffles on that and says, okay, some of it's real, but some of it's fake. Everything that makes me look bad is fake, but everything that looks me look good is real. And I would argue that he was a little bit more honest in the Ashley Zoe Fox interview, but if you look at him, he doesn't look like an innocent person. He looks like he's that kid that you brought into the office that is being accused of cheating on his math test, kind of nervous. All right. Here's the problem. Kira the Wolf, right? He went through both those interviews. People are still kind of hounding him. People are still fighting about whether or not he's guilty or innocent. The TLDR is he had done a house tour while he was out and about, you know. He couldn't have access to his internet or, like, you know, computer materials, and he was feeling bored at his parents' place. So he took an indoors tour of the partition of the household, like mostly the garage, but some other, like, attachments to the house that had very unique background furniture, like inlaid and stuff. Not furniture. You know, like wall fixtures that are very unique to a particular house. They do that for decor and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. The background matched almost perfectly to a porno tape that circulated, that, or not tape, like a clip, that matched the background perfectly with somebody that was fornicating with a very unique breed of dog, you know, black and beige. You know, the same breed of dog that Kira the Wolf owned at the time. So, yeah. Guess what happened after that? People were like, Kira, why does the background of this house tour video match this porno video? He doesn't acknowledge it at all. He just deletes the video of the house tour that he did. But people were smart enough to backlog that shit. They downloaded copies for themselves. So it's out there. And to this day, Kira the Wolf will not acknowledge that. And after that, his legal troubles begin. He goes to, like, he stonewalls the police at every turn. He wipes his hard drives clean. Everything's, like, you know, just completely lost to the ether. Even the police that received the, you know, the computer equipment and hardware from Kira the Wolf said, yo, all this shit's been, like, you know, wiped. His parents do not let the law enforcement tour the property like they asked. And what ends up happening is, after 2 years of stonewalling, shouting to the heavens, I'm innocent! I'm innocent! He has the gall to try to come back to the furry fandom when the statute of limitations runs out. You look like you're about to say something.
Damn, man's be out here trying to bamboozle people.
Nah, Maxwell's just very happy that his childhood hero has finally come back to bring love and care to his life.
Go grab me your shotgun. We have a guy to kill.
Yeah, man, I got the Mary Poppins bag, dude.
All right.
Sounds good to me.
So what ends up happening is he comes back and he throws Majira's strawberry.
The world of justice. Anyways, go ahead.
He comes back. He throws Majira Strawberry under the bus because Majira Strawberry basically says, like, you know, he just wants the views. Don't give him the views. Don't watch his stuff. And Kira Wolf gets a little butthurt, and he's just like, that's not very nice, Majira. Well, your subscribers and followers are going to be really surprised when they find out that you're a mersuiter. And, like, it didn't do anything to harm Majira Strawberry, but the idea that you're going to cast shade on your own friend, your own buddy that you used to collaborate with, is kind of shitty. And that told me right there that Kira the Wolf cared nothing more than for all the clout that he had. And years ago, he had like 33 patrons while he was still living up in PA. He jumped over state lines to live in West Virginia, which I will remind you guys is one of the few states remaining that bestiality is completely legal. A-okay. Coincidence? I don't think so. But, you know, maybe. Oh,
hey, wait a second.
Yeah.
Is mersuiting really that shunned by the community?
No. Kira Wolf just, like, was grasping at straws. Like, people didn't like tear Majira Strawberry a new one, but it was kind of shitty that, like, you know, he would reveal that to ruin the illusion for, like, some people that saw Majira Strawberry as wholesome 100. That is pretty shitty, you gotta admit, right? Like, that's being family friendly was part of Majira Strawberry's brand, and for somebody to, like, out him as being a mersuiter, I mean, that's not going to be good.
Okay, kind of funny though.
It is. It's like you find Barney doing fucked up things in the back room, like totally legal and on board.
Not seen you too, Pope.
All right. So like, Hero the Wolf was expecting this grand comeback, and one of the piss ants that was supporting him, defending him the entire time was a guy named Kit the Soulless. And he would do things like gray muzzle rants and whatever. What I hated about Kit the Soulless is that Telegram works in a very specific way. All the interactions between you and, say, Maxwell or Cyberpimp, it goes through a server. The timestamps between the server are going to be different from your particular geographical locale. What they were trying to say is that somebody had taken the chat logs, just changed the names around, and I don't care if you're like PewDiePie or fucking JonTron or the Game Grumps. I don't care how popular, how famous you are. There is no troll that's going to like formulate like 5 years of interactions between people in a private Discord or like Telegram chat to like, you know, bring you down, especially when you're like 100,000 subscribers. You're not even like, you know, approaching, you know, like Game Grumps territory as far as fame and infamy. So that whole thing was just bullshit. And like shit, Kit the Soulless, he didn't care about that. He took the HTML files and he would like act like he actually had some evidence to say, oh no, all this was fabricated. Like none of this is associated with Kira the Wolf. And like, I don't know why. Arguably, I hate Kit the Soulless more than Kira the Wolf. Because like, you know, he's not even part of like the League of Evil that Kira the Wolf's perpetuating. He's one of the shills, you know? And, well, you guys will be happy to know that Kit the Soulless is no longer really prominent. He never was. He's like got 1,500 subscribers, but he will fade into irrelevancy, I hope. I genuinely hope that he fades into irrelevancy from this point onwards. All right, so Kira the Wolf's comeback wasn't as good, wasn't as smooth as he expected it to be, in spite of cheers and jeers from all the people associated. And you know what? Like, his own chats, like his own YouTube videos, the comments are always scrubbed. Only positivity. There was a guy called the Truth King. Now, that would be like me saying, Maxwell, from this point onwards, you are my truth czar, okay? I give you permission to moderate my videos. Only positive comments are allowed from this point forward. And I think that's always a bitch move, you know? Like, YouTubers that have to prune their own comments. I don't have time for that shit. So, you know, like, shitty comments and stuff, it sucks, but, you know, you gotta have to be the bigger man and just be like, all right, you express your opinion. So what are some reactions from you guys so far? Like to all of this? A shrug.
I think you have to like cut your losses. Like, I don't know. You're playing with fire, no pun intended. You shouldn't make an appearance.
Shouldn't make an appearance. So
yeah, there's probably a lot of people out there, you know, like torches and pitchforks, like hunting the Frankenstein monster. So it's probably not wise to, you know, shit where you eat.
Oh.
Well, I mean, he's already done that plenty, though. So.
Yeah.
All right. You want to see where this goes? Well, too bad. I'm going to tell you anyway. Besides,
hopefully jail.
You don't want... No. He doesn't... he does not go to jail. Okay, so like his supporters... What? His supporters insist...
Can I move over to my couch because it seems like this is going to be a minute of talking.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Cool.
Yeah, just come back right where you were.
Blues could do and we could
anyway,
do.
So like I was saying... he is like, that's the one thing that he and his supporters are willing to support him on, is the fact that he was not convicted at all. He wasn't arrested, in spite of the fact that he was investigated, and they will harp on the fact that because he was never arrested, therefore he is innocent. But that's like saying, like, if hypothetically speaking, Cyberpimp and I, we robbed the First National Bank, and for whatever reason, like, we stole like all the fucking gold, we stole all the cash. And we agreed, we're just like, okay, from this point onwards, we're going to bury this shit. We're not going to touch the cash. We're going to bury it in the ground. And like 40 years from now, whenever the statute of limitations run out, we're going to grab the cash. Somehow, like through criminal ingenuity, Cyberpimp and I pull it off. And like, but like all of you know that we robbed the bank. It's just that legally we can't be touched. Like, whatever crime has a statute of limitations, stuff like that. That does not mean that we didn't rob the bank. It means that we can't be touched legally. So in the eyes of the law, we're not guilty. But in the eyes of like people like Maxwell, who's probably pissed off at us that we didn't bring him on the heist, he's like, I know what you guys did.
Yeah. I dare you.
All right. So like,
You didn't upgrade your safe house, man. You couldn't start the heist.
This ain't GTA Vice City. You're out of touch. I'm out of time. All right. So, all this to say, the fact is, like, I feel like Kira the Wolf's behavior was indicative of how guilty he was, and like that's not necessarily like indicative of guilt for some people. They're anxiety ridden. They don't know how to handle themselves in the face of adversity. But you gotta admit, when you like delete evidence on your end and feign ignorance after the fact, when people have already backed that shit up, it looks very bad, like, I don't know, but, all right, so this leads us to today. He never got prosecuted, he never got arrested, he never did this, that, and the other. So he's coming back as Radiance, as a rebranding. This would make it third time the charm, right? He's coming back, Radiance, and he's going to bring love into cheer. He named himself Radiance because he wants to shine through all the hateocracy and the bullshit that the furry fandoms put him through. And the only good...
Oh, yeah, the fandom put him through it. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Max, go expound on that. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. The fandom totally made him fuck a dog. Yeah, the fandom totally made him post those videos. Yeah, the fandom totally made him do all that stuff. I don't know what you're talking about. It's not him that did it. The fandom did it. Remember, if you can blame others, blame others.
That's a good point,
Taking
actually.
responsibility
Good.
is not something you actually have to do.
Well, what I noticed
They
that...
say,
What's that?
deny, accuse, deny.
Mm-hmm.
That's...
Like, hey, did you do this? Hell no. Are you sure you didn't do it? Yep, not me. I think you did it. Oh, no, not me, sir. Are you sure? Nope, wasn't me either.
Oh, no. Okay. So, here's what happened throughout the duration of all those years. Kira the Wolf put all the blame on Snake Thing, and what's surprising is that Cathorix and some other people actually got a hold of Snake Thing before he got sent off to jail. Kira the Wolf says, Snake Thing was just some guy I talked to because he was there in the Zeusatus chat. I would argue that Snake Thing is the most evil motherfucker of all of those guys, and there are probably even worse ones, but the fact that, like, Snake Thing would talk to somebody outside of all of that, it's kind of surprising. And, like, here's what Snake Thing had to say. He basically corroborated the fact that they had contact over the years. And what's disturbing about the chat logs themselves is that a lot of events that happened in Kira the Wolf's life coincided with things that he would say in the chat log. Like him expressing all this regret about his dog dying from intestinal cancer, which I would imagine he contributed to. Like,
Are you serious?
Supposedly that's how Coda died. Coda was Kira the Wolf's dog. And
He fucked his dog to death.
well, so again, I would like to put out a warning for you all. This is going to get a little bit not necessarily graphic, but graphic enough. All right. He would talk to Snake Thing about how he would have to sometimes pin his dog to the corner to because his dog would avoid him if he got a certain feeling from him, Dogs have sort of a sixth sense. If they know that something's up with you, if you're like out to kill the dog, for instance, but you're trying to pretend like you're its friend, it's going to avoid you because it's going to sense that something's wrong, I would imagine that would be the same thing if the dog notices that you're trying to do something that the dog would find unpleasant. It's going to avoid that. So Kira went into graphic detail about the things that he would have to do and then expressed regret about it after the fact. And his dog was very unique. It's not like so unique that you couldn't possibly get a copy, but how many people happen to be named Kira the Wolf #1 and have a dog named Coda that has black, beige, and very unique colorings? It's It's a breed of Australian sheepdog, I believe, but it's like a mixed breed, so it's unique. It's not like a golden retriever or anything like that. Anyway, like you said before, lie, deny, put all the blame on everybody else. Like, for instance, he said that the reason that we shouldn't, like, follow the zoo sadist chat logs is because it was sourced by a zoophile themselves. Therefore, the evidence is contaminated and that we just need to ignore it. Could you imagine if like, the court of public opinion was real? And it's like, somehow, there's, like, an actual judge. Like, Mr. Medicare. Like, Jim himself is the judge in this case. And, like, through some legal mumbo-jumbo, it's like, oh, I'm sorry, the chat logs are inadmissible as evidence. You have to get them on something else. Like, could you imagine the three-ring circus? Oh, and Kiwi Farms, because Kiwi Farms, by its very nature, is a site where, like, trolls get to, like, run supreme. That's why we can't listen to what the Kiwi Farmers have to say, even though they source all the evidence and did most of the work for us. We can't listen to anything they say. We have to remain impartial and weigh him only based on, you know, what. But it's just like, fucking A. The thing that pisses me off about Kiro is that he's so fucking obsessed with clout and popularity that, like, you know, nothing else matters. Like, he likes to put on a little jig and dance and stuff like that and act like, oh, I'm just here to bring positivity back to your lives. Would you watch a comedian that you know fucked his dog? Or, like, anybody out there that was, like, a celebrity? If you knew the crimes they were guilty of, would you feel comfortable watching them on stage putting on a show?
No.
Hell no.
I know Cyberpimp would, if he was holding a rifle.
Yep, big old 338, boy.
All right. So all of that to say, that didn't go over too well. And if you look at fucking Kira the Wolf's current video, Radiance coming back and stuff like that, the rebrand, the positivity is going to give you diabetes. All right, there's no two ways around it. So here's what disturbs me the most. I'm not disturbed by the fact that the furry fandom had such a visceral reaction to Kira the Wolf and friends. That fills my heart with pride that the furry fandom is willing to police itself, try to, you know, remove problematic people ahead of time and stuff like that. That's good. Okay, like, pedophiles and zoophiles have no place here. But the fact that there are so many people that don't care that Kira the Wolf did what he did, and they want him because of his content and stuff like that, like, how do you guys feel about that? Like, people that are just, they're complicit because they valued the content that he would provide.
Can we just throw him off a cliff?
That's against the law.
Funny internet man makes me laugh. I don't hate him.
They think that all of these allegations are rumors and lies, and that the furry family needs to get the fuck over itself and accept one of their own back into the folds, which is a very dangerous precedent set.
Mm-hmm.
So, I spoke for a good while there. I will just, like, recap all of this. Here's the good news. Kira the Wolf had 33 patrons 2 years ago. It's been reduced down to 9. I don't know if it's grown since then, but last I checked, 9 people. 9 diehards that are willing to support his ass. In spite of it all.
Oh, man, that's a 9 rings of power right there.
9 rings of power? What was this? Is going to be like Sonic the Hedgehog with the Chaos Emeralds?
Yep.
We're gonna have to fucking grab the Chaos tampons, and we're gonna have to.
What was it? It was 9 rings for man, like 3 rings for Elven Kings.
Oh yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Well.
And 1 ring to rule them all.
All right. Well, the TLDR, ladies and gentlemen, is that Kira the Wolf's back. He's rebranding. He's gonna be Radiance. He grabbed a Canis model. Like, it's like the sister of the Rexiam. Same style, just colored as his fursuit. I think he's too fat to fit as his fursuit these days. Like, he's become a little bit of a ham beast over the years. Just a little bit, you know? I guess all that COVID living wasn't too good for him. It's not like Cyberpimp that goes out and removes dirt all day, and Maxwell that, like, you know, has to go to the store and interface with his fellow man. But I talked for a...
Now that I punch trees. builds character. Learned a lot from Minecraft Steve.
Oh, Blue Static Fur, you have no idea. He's going to try to come back, all right? Ladies and gentlemen, you all need to, like, beware. Kira the Wolf will be among the furry fandom population. Oh, by the way, I didn't tell you guys. He used a voice changer, supposedly. He doesn't sound anything like he did, because he had, like, a high-pitched nasally voice that sounded like a kid in his earlier videos. Nowadays, he sounds like... I don't know, he sounds like Steve from accounting. All right.
Oh, no.
I talked for a while there. I want to hand it to you guys. You guys got anything before I move on to the next docket?
No, not really.
All right, Cider Pimp, you got something to say?
It needs more vigilance.
Needs more
You
vigilance.
gotta call people out. Yeah, you gotta call people out like that way ahead of time before it spirals down like a dark alleyway.
Here's the problem. When people were calling him out, they're the ones that got attacked for it. Until it became obvious that Kira the Wolf was guilty of sin. That's why it got so bad. That's why every time Kira the Wolf came back, everyone was pissed off, you know? Nobody was happy. You know what they say. Once the heathens wake up, nobody's happy after that. All right.
Yeah, and misery loves company.
Oh, you got it, man.
Also a fact.
He not go to cons. He go be hang out on VR chat now. Think furry community. Let him back. Unfortunately, yes. Which is why that's kind of a dangerous precedent set. Kira the Wolf is banking on the ignorance that new furries have that wouldn't be aware of any of this, okay? The furries that weren't a part of social media when Kira the Wolf made waves in the first place, you know? And that's a problem. Now, that is a good way to dodge...
Them goddamn Zoomers, I tell you what.
Oh, God, is this going to be another gray muzzle rant from you?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Just a smug grin and just...
Maybe.
Cider Pimp be an old man. He's not like us. Granted, Maxwell looks like he's about to pass out.
I'm comfortable.
All right. Don't get too comfortable.
Oh, he makes noise too. If you touch his head, he makes noise.
I
like
turned
robot
Avatar sound effects off. Okay, whatever. Hey, Del. Oh no, I'm not. I'm trying not to like adulterate the audio of the live stream. Okay, so here's what we got going on now. There was a kidnapping that happened while I was out. You know how my computer had massive issues for about 2 weeks there, and I needed to get through those, work through those, get everything set up. A kidnapping happened, and it briefly intersected with VR chat. This is primarily taking place over Twitter as far as awareness goes, but I do know for a fact that both people had access to the VR chat platform and were talking. Can you guess the ages of these two individuals? Just go ahead. Guess. And I'll tell you all a story after that.
They're little kids.
You're very
Way
close.
young.
You're very close.
13.
Yes. Okay.
God, I'm good.
There's a guy out there called Hunter Floofy Fox. Now, Hunter's a good boy.
Oh.
You know? He's a 26-year-old demisexual gay man. You know, lived out in Arizona. I think he's Texas born and he moved to Arizona. I think that's what happened, but he was a good boy. All right. I promise. He was a writer, you know, he started working out, lifting weights. It's kind of like Cider Pimp, that one scene where you're just like, you feeling tough, my man? You feel like you're feeling tough? You got hair on your sack? You want to throw down? Like, you know, he started lifting weights.
Dude, mini golf was lit, dude.
He started like lifting weights and like working out. And like, he spoke obsessively about his precious little lamb. Like, he would be like, oh my God, my life will be complete if I just have my precious little innocent lamb in my life. And like, but here's the problem. He's saying this every other tweet. He's always pontificating about his lovely little lamb. So would you be surprised that a minor appears? Well, we don't know it's a minor at first. We just see lamb, like, as far as his avatar picture. So like this guy Hunter, right? he wrote so much about his precious little lamb, he actually published a book about it. A wolf's writings, about his lamb, which is kind of creepy. Because the passages kind of read out like
Extremely.
he's obsessing over the idea of his precious, perfect little lamb. His precious little lamb was a 13-year-old, and the worst thing about it is this 13-year-old goes by Dem, or Dem does things. He's got a personal account. He's got an After Dark account. The problem with the After Dark account is it features KKK people in full cap and gown, or a hood and gown, I should say. So this 13-year-old, we're already getting off to a bad start, right? Like he's showcasing some problematic things. Maybe not. Well, what's your perception of 13-year-olds today? Like, do you have any idea about how they would act or behave out in person that you might find problematic, cringy, or
Man, they stupid. That's what they is.
okay,
They
don't
stupid.
insult members of our cast now. Nah, I kid. All right.
Say what?
Oh my god.
All right. How about you, Cyberpimp? You got any perceptions about 13, 14-year-olds these days? Zoomers?
See, back in my day, we didn't
Here
have
we
these
go.
fancy pants smartphones that y'all got and these VR headsets and so they always told us, hey, don't stay close to the TV because you're gonna hurt your eyes. But now people take the TV and they strap it to your face a half-inch away. So I don't know what's real or not. So yeah, all you 13 and 14-year-olds out there, y'all better I don't know, go out in the woods, play with sticks and rocks and mud. That's what I had.
Touch grass.
Yep, I had 2 sticks and a rock for the whole platoon. We all had to share that rock.
What'd you name it? Rocky?
Darla.
Darla. Oh, no. Okay. All right. With that outrageous revelation out of the way, I'm just going to go ahead and segue back into the story. Dem would say things, right? He would say how, as soon as I get home today, I'm taking my dad's gun and I'm going to blow my head off, or some shit like that.
Cool.
Well, he's saying all this edgy things, right? Edgy stuff. He alludes to pulling off a mass shooting. He alludes to this. He alludes to that. He's just saying, yo,
Oh, so domestic terrorism. Good to know.
he's Latino, by the way. And I sympathize with the kid, but he openly admits that on the 28th of December, he was supposed to seek therapy. But he wouldn't get his chance. Because you know what? Something happened on the 28th. Well, it was during that time that something had been going on. See, here's the entire... And I'm actually going to make a video about this, but whatever. For right now, I will regale it all to you because it's fresh on my mind. Dem. Dem has been contacting Hunter for a good many months now. Both are in constant contact with one another on and off. And I feel like it's not as as constant as Hunter wants. That's why he makes these grandiose statements about his precious little lamb on social media. And Max, you might be in love with somebody. Cyber, you might not. You might be in love with somebody, but you're not going to talk about them.
Wait, question back to the whole lamb thing.
Yeah.
Did they try to use? Did all of this stir up around the time the Cult of Lamb came out and they were trying?
No.
It was before that.
It was before and then during. So that would be
So basically just fueled the ego.
that would have been fucking awesome if that happened, but no, that's not how it played out.
They would have been their own cult follower.
Yeah, exactly. But no. Hunter, he really wanted to hook up with Dem. I'm going to go ahead and remind you guys, Hunter is 26 years of age. Not exactly a spring chicken anymore. He's kind of a man in the eyes of society. And Dem, he's 13, so he's literally half Hunter's age. Okay? Just split down the middle. Mm-hmm. Now, here's the fucked up part, right? The parents, they catch Dem on his phone talking to Hunter, through Twitter and stuff like that and other, platforms. And they actually sent the phone off to the police, and the police were having problems. Like, this is Utah police. The Utah police were having problems identifying who this Hunter guy was. And, like, you know, that happened a month before the incident happened. So, like, already the parents are sus as fuck about the whole situation. Some weird adult man is contacting their minor child. All right, that's not good. But because people try to go after the parents after the fact and say, why didn't the parents do anything about it? Well, they tried, but, you know, police were kind of slacking. Okay, so Hunter is openly declaring this to everybody. Hey, I'm going to get married to my precious little lamb out on the trails. It's going to happen around Christmas. I feel it. It's happening.
Oh.
What happens after marriage?
Oh, no.
How do you consummate a marriage?
With a firm handshake, and that's it.
No.
Firm handshake.
You do something like this.
See, that's kind of like a handshake.
How the fuck is that a handshake? Hands are, well, I guess you're...
Hold on, I want to see that on the feed real quick. Like 3 seconds away.
Oh, no. Okay, anyway. So this is all going on, right? What ends up happening is Hunter is... What?
Sorry.
You looking at something
I
funny?
just saw it.
Oh... Dude, if everything was, like, set up properly, I would have, like... Oh, Kelly Shea. That rascal you.
Yeah, you can always do cocaine, you know? Keeps it going. Keeps the party alive.
Okay, alright. Hey, you guys. If you all ever get married... If you get married to your significant other in the furry fandom, remember, before you actually engage...
Significant otter?
Or significant other.
Yeah.
If you actually engage with your, like, you know, significant other, a firm handshake is going to consummate the marriage before you get into sexual contact or anything like that, you know? And, you know, maybe the handshake only involves, like, one hand and the other appendage could be something else. Nah, I'm fucking with y'all. Anyway, moving on.
If you're ace, it's a high five.
Yeah. All right. So this is all going on. Hunter is making plans about going out to see Dem. And they're making plans on going camping together, having sex, doing other things. I don't know why, but I'm getting strong inclinations to like Christian. Because like Christian, anytime that he would get into these like, you know, cockamamie bullshit fake relationships, what he would end up doing is he would be like, we are going to have sex together and it's going to be awesome. And it's just like, oh no. You already know what fucking like, you know, Christian's into. That all he wants is to have sex, but he doesn't know how it works because he had sex once with a prostitute. That's how he lost his virginity. He used the prostitute's real name, so she had to like change her name legally to avoid getting arrested or anything like that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was really bad. Anyway,
When the L is so bad that you even scare the prostitutes away.
Well, if you were a prostitute and you saw Christian, how much would you charge? Like, come on.
Boy.
It would be a lot.
Yo, I don't know. I lost a lot after COVID, so, like, we're going to have to come in at an even 50K.
An even 50K? Like, is that like an hour or a day or, like, the whole world?
I don't know. That's like a 5-hour power hour.
That's a 5-hour power hour. Okay. So what about you, Max? How much would you charge? Or you wouldn't even do it?
No, I look, I've done a lot of pity ones, but I will not touch crazy like that.
Dude, pity...
Daddy said don't stick dick in crazy.
No. Well, pity fucks are terrible because you're going to kind of indirectly hate the other person. Like, subconsciously. So remember, do not have sex with anybody out of pity, like, ever. That's going to, like, permanently make your relationship with that other person, whether it's friends or anything else, awkward as fuck. Just don't do it. Oh, did I even...
Awkward.
Yeah. All right. Anyway.
Just finish the story. Was that the whole story?
No. So anyway, the reason I say that is because Hunter is basically spilling the beans about what he plans on doing. And there are some people out there that know exactly what, how old Dem is and how old Hunter is. And they don't say anything. Like, they just stay quiet about it. They're like, you know, not saying a damn thing. They're not contacting the authorities. They're not contacting the parents. They're not making much of an effort to sort of like prevent this from actually happening. And we're going to get into how just like, you know, how loco, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs some of these people are. But Hunter eventually, like, it comes Christmas comes and goes. But on Monday, he makes a sojourn out to Utah from Arizona. And he's just like, he has one destination in mind. He's going to pick up Dem. And he even collected, like, all of this vape juice and shit like that. Like, vape materials to enjoy with a 13-year-old boy out on the trail. THC included, you know, marijuana and stuff. Stuff that you're not supposed to, like, ingest when you're a little kid. You know, like, kids aren't supposed to be smoking or vaping or anything like that. Not yet, anyway. You're supposed to wait till...
We're playing Fortnite. You better watch out. That shit's addicting.
Yeah.
You gotta leave that stuff to professionals like me.
Anyway, he makes the sojourn down. He picks up Dem, and the parents freak out, and they call the cops. Because now Dem is officially missing. This is what happens. Like, because both of them met right before that he left to go pick up Dem, they were in VR chat several times. Like, you know, in the days leading up to that, and right before he came up to go to see his house, pick his ass up, go to Nebraska. I don't know why the fuck you go to Nebraska, but I guess it's a good place to lay low. VR chat, for the first time in its known history, has actually made like an Amber Alert in-game that caused a lot of people to freak out because it's like, wait, what? Somebody actually got fucking kidnapped here? Like, how? You know, like, what if... This is just my imagination. I know this isn't actually what happened. But, like, imagine that Maxwell's like a 13-year-old kid. I have, like, romantic feelings for him. He's in VR, and I just grab him. And, like, you know, he's in, like, a room with all of his friends. And, like, it's like, Max, where are you? Max, speak to us, boy. And his avatar's just there, just, like, you know, frozen in place. Because, like, you know, like, limp. That's my headcanon.
Just get drug off into the computer monitor.
Yeah.
Like fucking Digimon just gets sucked in.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Like, Hunter reaches through the fucking monitor and just grabs your ass out. And, like, your avatar's left behind. Anyway. So they go for a little bit of a road trip, you know? Nothing that 26-year-olds and 13-year-olds can't do. I'm fucking lying. That's what happened.
Don't do it.
Yeah. If you're a 26-year-old out there, let alone anybody over the age of 18, Romeo and Juliet laws exist, but that doesn't apply to people that are well beyond the age. There's no comparison between a 26-year-old and 13-year-old. But they go for a little fun little road trip out into the wilds, you know? He goes north towards Colorado.
Playing the Oregon Trail.
I don't think you can put your age that low. You can definitely be a 25-year-old on the Oregon Trail as your like earliest, but you can't be like an 18 or let alone a 13-year-old. And the oldest you can be is like 65. So
13 years old. Hey, Pa, I'm going to Oregon on the Oregon Trail, and you live in like fucking I don't know New Orleans. It's like what?
That's not gonna work. What, are you going to caulk the fucking wagon your way there? And then you're going to run into racist Kermit who's going to be playing the banjo. It's like, excuse me, sir, can you tell me, like, you know, which way to New Orleans? It's just like, it's back the way you came, boy. It's like, oh, no. Anyway. All that to say, there is a duration of several days where people are just completely... They're just completely losing their mind, right? People on Twitter are pinging Hunter and saying, you return that boy and turn yourself in. And obviously Hunter's shutting all of that out. He doesn't care. All he cares about now is having sex with Dem, presumably. And like he's been talking about for months that he wants to just ravish his precious little lamb. His little lamb is so precious and so pristine, but Dem showed himself to be like not all there up in the head. He has some issues. Why his parents were trying to get him into therapy. So, like for a couple days, they're running on the lam. Okay, they're out there. Nobody knows where they are. Eventually, an employee notices a car, like a truck. He was driving like a Toyota, one of those Toyota trucks. You know the ones I'm talking about, right, Cyber? They're like small. They're used in the Toyota truck war out in the Middle East. You remember?
Hilux?
I forget the actual construction of the truck, but they're like really small. They're almost like the size of a car, but instead of having a car body, it has a truck body.
Toyota Hilux?
Yeah, something like that. But it's got like a broken grill and all that shit. I can't imagine being like stuck in one of those.
Yeah, Toyota's a proud sponsor of ISIS, dude.
Okay, well, ignoring that outrageous revelation. Like they're at a get and split, okay? And a get and split is basically kind of like a 7-Eleven or a Wawa, like here in the East, but it's unique to Nebraska. And the employee, he notices that like these two are just sitting in their truck an awful long time, and he's getting suspicious. So he ends up calling the cops. Cops arrive, they find Hunter and Dem. They try to arrest Hunter. Hunter actually resists arrest, not something that you should do when you're already wanted, like with a 5-star rating, And like he gets into a scuffle, so that's another charge he's going to face later. Resisting arrest, on top of abduction of a minor. So you'll be happy to know that this has a happy ending. Dem gets to go back to his parents, and Hunter is basically held in Nebraska. And the two primary charges, more will follow later, but at the time, the charges are abduction of a minor and resistance of arrest. And he was found with all this paraphernalia. He was definitely planning on doing shit out there in the woods. I'm curious if he had condoms or shit like that, He definitely stocked up on snacks and shit like that, but you gotta wonder, like... He knew what he wanted, and he wasn't gonna take no for an answer. Like he was gonna get some 13-year-old boy pussy. Like that's what he was gonna do. Oh. All right. Well, that happened, and Dem. Here's the funny part. Okay, not funny, but like it's sort of like weird. Golden the pup. There's a guy called Golden the pup who just recently turned into 18 years of age. So he was a kid. Now he's not a kid. He's an adult. Here's the fucked up part. He was in contact with both Dem and Hunter at the time. He could have like contacted police at any time, said, "Yo, my friend Hunter over here, he wants to like grab a 13-year-old kid and take him off like, into the wild blue yonder. What are we going to do about that?" And like he could have done that at any time. And you know what he told the person he was talking to? Go ahead, guess. He pulled like a fucking Christian. He's like, if they show up here, I'm going to take care of my own damn self. Like acting like he's big man on campus. Like he's going to tell them to stop. Like if they come to his house. And just completely not registering reality of a situation, A 13-year-old kid was just fucking abducted. You're not going to take care of it yourself. You're going to call the cops. Okay? Especially if they're out on the lam. So that was one problem. The other problem is, like, he was trying to say that Hunter was rescuing the kid. As in, Hunter was rescuing the kid from abuse and a bad situation at home. And there's no evidence to support that, I'm starting to think that maybe Golden the Pup was manipulated into believing that, like, Dem's situation at home was worse than it actually was. Your parents ground you for like a week and you act like they're the worst people in the world because it's like, it's unfair. And people correlate that with abuse, but in reality, they're just disciplining you. It's like that. Mm-hmm. So the mother is very happy that the son's home and like, I don't know. This is why 13-year-olds should be able to buy ammo and arms. I support this. That just reminds me of my idea on how to stop mass shootings at schools, is that we arm all the kids with gyrojets. You know what a gyrojet is? Mm-mm. It's a pistol that can shoot like a rocket, and
It was like the 45 ACP that was rocket propelled.
yes. And one person in the chat I was in, he's like, Tujo, we're not arming the youth of the nation with shitty gun, like, space age sci-fi guns from the 70s. I'm sorry. The budget won't allow for that. And I'm just like, well,
everyone gets a Mac 11. You get a Mac 11. You get a Mac 11.
Yep, just remember, safety's got to be on, like, while you're in class, unless we're in lockdown.
Hey, this is the most important safety right here. See this one?
Jesus Christ. Nah, man. My idea, right, to stop mass shootings is that if there's one shooter, all the kids, like, unify and they shoot, like, fucking, what's the equivalent of, like, a bottle rocket, all at the perpetrator. And, like, maybe individually they're not very accurate, but as a group, that's like, the X-Fighters going after the Death Star. Like, en masse. All right, I'll take a Mac 5.
There was only one X-Wing fighter. There's only one X-Wing fighter that made it through that entire campaign.
Well, we don't talk about that.
And that's
anyway,
because he had the Force.
The other person knowing and not doing anything also makes them culpable. Ah, see, that's where you're wrong, Dell, because they actually said, I'm not going to get in trouble because I had plausible deniability. They actually said that, like something like that. They're like, I'm not getting in trouble for this. Watch them actually get questioned by the police later. It's like, excuse me, sir or madam, you had every opportunity to, like, tell the cops all this and you chose not to. Do you have any particular reason for that?
No.
You heard it from Max. He doesn't have plausible deniability. Therefore, he can be carted off to jail. No. All right. He just disappears. He phases out. He's like, nah, you're not taking me to jail. All right. So, one thing I wanted to mention to you guys. Remember when the whole Kira the Wolf drama was happening in full swing?
I don't pay attention to it, but I'll believe you. You say what, yeah.
All right, Cyber, this affects you too. Because I want to talk about memories I have of Mr. Medicare. Now, Mr. Medicare is a pretty savage dude here on YouTube. He's a professional shit poster. Made his money, got out, comes back. Supposedly doesn't care about the, like, love and attention that the internet, provides to him. But at the same time, he's got cancer. And he's going to be dying soon. And he's not going to be around for much longer. So he says. So he made an ode of farewell. And my earliest exposure to Mr. Medicare, right, was the whole Kira the Wolf drama. And I don't know what it is. Any non-furry that looks into the furry fandom and tries to interview somebody here to, like, talk to get a sense about what furries are like and stuff like that. Somebody was defending Kira the Wolf's good name to Mr. Medicare, and I can't seem to find the actual video these days. But here's what happened. Like, this dumb motherfucker, not knowing who Mr. Medicare was, he actually goes out of his way to challenge Mr. Medicare and say that Mr. Medicare is a pedophile, which he's not. Like, the furry was just grasping at straws and trying to, like, shout any insult he possibly could at Mr. Medicare. Mr. Medicare actually invites said furry onto his channel to have a talk about it. And everything goes to shit from there, because guess what? The furry that he grabbed was the dumbest motherfucker I ever heard. The only thing I extrapolated from that whole conversation is that the furry would just, like, reflect upon the word, just don't. Just don't. You want to steal a cookie from the cookie jar? Just don't. You want to fucking, like, rob the bank across the street? Just don't. Like,
I mean, that's some sound logic. I could get behind that.
So that's the meme that, like, I walked away with, is like, just don't.
I like money and I like cookies.
Just don't. Just don't. And, like, even Mr. Medicare was just repeating that. He's like, all right, I'll remember that advice. Just don't. It got pretty weird after that. Because the furry, right, he accused Mr. Medicare of being a pedophile. But his entire fucking gallery showcased underage furries. In, like, you know what a banana hammock is, right, Max? where you're wearing like a Speedo and stuff like that, and your bulge kind of What?
Wait, what are you asking about my bulge?
I'm saying, like, it's an artistic style when somebody's drawn like a Speedo or something really tight and they have a bulge down here, and they call it a banana hammock. It's like a banana's inside of a hammock. Okay, so his entire...
Like Mr. Universe, like strongman competitions.
Well, no,
Like
see...
big greased up, muscle man, dude.
Big grease up muscle man thing. No, but, like, his entire gallery was full of nothing but, like little kid furries, right? Like cubs in like banana hammock like undies, and Mr. Medicare couldn't help but
no-go, Chief.
Well, see, Mr. Medicare is smart, right? He does his homework ahead of time before he talks to somebody, so he has an idea of like who he's talking to, and he's just like, well, hey, you're the one that came onto my chat, like accuses me of being a pedophile, but when I look at your gallery, you're showing all these young furries like bouncing around on fucking banana hammocks. So what's the deal here, bud? And that's where the whole just don't comes into play. It's like, I don't know what the furry was trying to say, but the only thing I walked away with, right? It's like furries that talk to CNN, furries that talk to the news, furries that talk to anybody out there that is revealing secrets about the furry fandom. Why do they always pick the dumbest people, the worst people to like represent the rest of us? That's my question to you guys.
Good publicity.
There you go.
Good publicity.
Any publicity is good publicity.
Yep.
Bad, good.
Just like I want pictures of Spider-Man on my desk by noon tomorrow.
Jesus
Like,
Christ.
you don't care how you get them. You just want the pictures of Spider-Man. If you have to shoot and kill another cameraman to get me those pictures first, I'll make it happen.
Shoot another cameraman to make it happen.
Yeah, that's why Vogue went after furries. There was two conventions going on. There was a Star Trek convention and a furry convention. Vogue went to the Star Trek convention and started trying to ask the weird questions, and they just said, "Yeah, we fuck in these costumes." Vogue was like, "Well, that's not very interesting." They go over to the furry side, and instantly they're like, "So, what do you guys do here?" "Oh, we don't fuck in suits and stuff. We don't know what you're talking about." But we didn't say anything, but go on, tell me more. This is very interesting.
Yo, Boba Fett had a harem,
I'm just imagining like a bunch of fucking hookers that look like they're dressed like Princess Leia from Return of the Jedi, just like following him in like a conga line, and like he's like marching around like he's the head badass. That's what I'm imagining when you said he had a fucking harem. Okay.
I run my household, for real.
I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. In the inevitable day when the United States collapses and we're basically living like Mad Max every day, my theory is that Cyberpimp's going to be a warlord, and he's going to accept like cash, ass, or grass. And he wants he wants some of that purple haze, maybe some, some of that special stuff. Because if your grass ain't good,
be his pet fox.
That's fine. Yeah. And I guess we're going to live on like a little commune out there, like a tire fortress, trying to pump out oil and water from the ground. Some of that.
Like, oi, Furiosa, where we going? Gas Town, Bullet Farm.
Who run Bartertown? Fucking that third movie, right? With Tina Turner running fucking Bartertown of all things. Well, I mean, I guess she needs something to do in her old age. So we're on a post-apocalyptic. She kept lying about her age, dude. And like, I like Tina Turner, but
Tina Turner's still alive?
I think she died recently.
Yeah, I think
damn
she
her.
passed away.
Unfortunately,
Rest
but
in pepperonis. Let's
yep.
get an F in chat for Tina Turner, guys.
F in chat for Tina Turner, please. Ripperoni, pepperoni. I don't know, guys. It's just, this has been a weird couple of weeks, I would be aware of social media, but I didn't get to actually do much because my computer was down. But I remember Logan Paul got back in the news. He gained some relevance recently. Unfortunately, it's not the relevance he wanted.
What happened? Was it good? Was it bad?
No!
Didn't he do the whole NFT thing?
Yes.
The Bitcoin rug pull?
Go ahead. If you know the story, I'll fill in the
Oh,
blanks.
No, I saw
No?
it from Critical, and I was just like,
Oh no.
this fucker.
Dude,
It's
the moist critical.
yeah,
Yeah,
moist
he
critical.
was doing. No, he had a video, like a 3 or 7 minute video on Logan Paul. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not even
I
watching
I
this
might
anymore.
actually
Like,
make a
I already
video.
know.
I might actually make a video talking about Logan Paul because that whole thing was just actually like before I even get into the actual controversy, I'm just going to go ahead and say right now, Meat Canyon, I love his satire, right? Like do you know who Meat Canyon is?
I watch him. Yeah, good.
Yeah. He I like the one where Logan Paul approaches the audience and he's like, "Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I guess you don't really get to be in the presence of a celebrity much these days, huh? Well, hey, just gonna go ahead and the guy, it's from first person view, so like Logan Paul's reaching for his wallet, and when the guy catches him, he's like, "Oh, don't worry about what I'm doing. Here, drink one of these Powerades." Like one of his off-brand like Powerade drinks, and
Off-brand
yeah,
Powerade.
yeah, and he like drinks and like and he starts choking. It's like, yeah, it's gonna make you big and strong. Now, just gonna go ahead and he just grabs his wallet. It's like, it's looking kind of short down these days. He's basically robbing the guy blind, but and then he's just like, hey, that's a nice shirt you wear there. Let me just go ahead and get that off of you. And when he knocks him down, he actually grabs, I forget what his helper dude is like called, but he brings his little gremlin-esque helper dude over to like, help him continue robbing the guy. Because they pull off his pants, they pull off his like, shoes, and the guy's just like, hey, Logan, can you pay me now? It's like, I already paid you. Like he's gaslighting him basically. It's like, I already paid you. This,
Oh my God.
this is just for daddy, all right? You gotta do this for daddy. And he just grabs all of the dude's stuff, and like after like he robs him blind, he's like, okay, now listen, I know you're feeling pretty upset right now, all right? And I do apologize for that, but like I already addressed this in my last video. And he plays like the wrong video like 5 times, and it's like, well, I'll find it later. And like puts it away. And he calls a little gremlin with him, and they run off with the guy's stuff. And the guy's just like, he's been robbed blind, okay? He doesn't have an idea what's going on. Because like people have lost money on this project, right? It was basically like taking real life animals, applying sort of like a shitty AI that would combine different types of animals together, and if you want to keep that as like an NFT, that was unique, and whatever value it had accrued up to that point was going to like be tied to that particular breed of animal. And it could have been like a hybrid, you could mix a panda with an otter, you could mix an elephant with a bear, you could mix anything. The problem is there was little to no effort because these are just stock photos, right? So they're not going to look good. It's not going to be like a VR chat avatar where I take like maybe Sire Pimp, mix it with Maxwell, and we get like a Dragon Fox or something like that. None of that. And he like, Logan Paul, when he's approached about his little pet project, it's like, yo, you've been promising this cryptocurrency game that was going to be playing like fucking Pokemon, but when we actually see what's going on, like we're losing money on this. And he's like saying, oh, well, I actually lost money on this project because I had to pay like over $1 million for the programmers to actually give it to me. So they're the ones at fault. And CoffeeZilla, right? He's like the internet sleuth detective guy. That's his whole shtick. He dresses in like suspenders, dresses like an 1800s like dude. And he goes over there and he just makes a video. Logan Paul actually threatens him with a lawsuit for defamation, like in an underhanded way. He's just sort of like, just saying like, yo, I hope you're ready for a lawsuit because one's coming your way, just for exposing Logan Paul and everything that he'd been doing. Like, and Logan Paul insists that he had recorded a private conversation that was supposed to like, stay private. And just, I don't know, it threw me for a loop. But here's the problem. Why are people supporting Logan Paul to begin with? Because this is the same guy that's been routinely caught doing shitty things. You remember like the Suicide Forest? That was my introduction to Logan Paul years ago. You know, when he like went to the fucking Akihabara suicide forest, it was like taking like pictures with dead bodies and shit like that. Now Cyber Maxwell, this is my defining memory of him here on VR chat, right? Because there was an avatar somebody made where Logan Paul's wearing that dumbass like Toy Story 2 alien like hat, and he's holding like a wad of cash, and he's got a poggers look on his face, and there's like a noose in front of him, but on the end of the noose is a like blobby Knuckles that is like dead, and it's over a fire, and Logan Paul is just standing there like watching it all with his wad of cash, you know, because he got paid for it. And
Man, I'm gonna miss those legacy avatars.
me too. But let's be honest here. Logan Paul has, like, the Paul brothers in general, they have indirectly fucked so many content creators out there. People that rely upon ad revenue as a job. Like, they're the ones that started the adpocalypse. At least, like, Logan Paul did. I don't know why he thought he was going to be a boxer for a little while there. He was fighting, like, people that were way past their prime, you know? You remember all that? And, like, no joke. Hey, he worked out.
A cool Charizard card, though.
Okay, he had a cool Charizard card. That is the only thing I'll like grant him on that. Okay. I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, this whole thing just kind of played out. Where are we now? Are the chickens coming home to roost?
They need to have more creator clashes. I want to see more YouTubers and like Twitch people beat the fuck out of one another.
Oh yeah.
Good times.
You want people to get in the ring? You know, actually, you know.
Yes.
Okay, you know what? Maybe I need to start hitting the gym, working out. Maybe, like, you know, try to get into like a cage match with somebody, because there are states where you can legally, if you challenge somebody, and as long as a police officer's there to like sanction this as a legitimate fight, he will stay there to be a witness so it doesn't get out of hand, and you can legally bare knuckle brawl somebody like in the presence of a cop. You know, as long
You
as
just gotta go out in the woods.
Shh. Yeah, but the whole point of getting into a fight.
Okay, we're gonna go to the ocean and we're gonna swim on out to a buoy, and we're gonna climb on top of the buoy and fist fight one another on top of the buoy while we're in shark-infested waters.
Oh no!
It'll be like Gang Beast. Yeah, it'll be like Gang Beast. Like, you gotta knock him out of the ring, but only there's sharks around and you're fighting your best friend.
I mean, I just remember Burger Andy getting into it with some people, and he tried apologizing to somebody, and Asian Andy, or whoever that guy was, he wasn't taking no crap from it like Burger Andy, because he would try to, like, you know, uppercut him, and it was basically a bunch of nerds hanging out. But oh god, you guys remember Burger Andy?
Not me, bro.
Okay, Kelly Shea, come to the desert instead. I'll supply weapons. Oh my god, this will be like a Burning Man 2.0. It's like, you know, fucking cage match. 2 men enter, 1 man leave. 2 men enter, 1 man leave.
Welcome to Thunderdome. I master, he blaster.
And together we're Master Blaster. Dell seems to think that Creator Clash 2.0 is going to be happening here soon, by the way. Like, so I've been talking for a good bit here. What about you guys? You guys have to have some, like, stuff on your mind that you'd, like, you know, mention for the good of the chat.
Uploading avatars in VR chat. Fucking terrible. Hard.
No.
Person like me shouldn't be subject to such abuse and mental anguish.
See, Cyberpimp over here, he seems to think that being, like, you know, having to go through the struggle of uploading an avatar is tantamount to abuse by VR chat. But what I would say that's more abuse is VR chat updating the platform while saying fuck you to all of its content creators. Just being like, yeah, remember that avatar that you put in, like, you know, a week's worth of effort into? Well, it's going to be broken after this update, so I hope you enjoy it now. Did that ever happen to you, Maxwell?
It's
No.
not even once.
Yeah, not even once, bud.
He lies.
Yeah.
It's enough to make a grown man cry.
In those blue eyes, I see nothing but pain and sorrow.
I sense only fear in dead men.
You sense only fear in dead men. All right. You know, you remember the whole Christian saga, right? Well, maybe you don't remember it all, but supposedly, like, Liquid Chris came back.
The dude had a funny name, liked Pikachu and Sonic, and then did sussy stuff, and now they're in jail.
Well, no, I talked to a friend of mine recently, and he legitimately believed that Christian had escaped jail briefly for a bit there. Like, he legitimately believed that because he didn't follow it that closely.
How? Like, what kind of jail? Like a nursing home?
The theory... No. Well, Christian was supposed to go to a halfway house, but the halfway house said no because they're, like, full of people, so it's just like, no. Like, find somewhere else for this man. So he got sent back to jail, and he's been in solitary...
Oh, my God.
He's been in solitary confinement because the cops are afraid that if he goes into general population... the other prisoners aren't going to put up with Christian's bullshit for very long. And let's be honest, Christian would say something stupid to the wrong person and get decked in the face for it. That's a best case scenario, okay? Worst case is they actually mark Christian for death, which I hope never happens, but, well, let's be honest here. Prisoners don't fight fair, number one. And number two, if they want you gone, they'll find a way. Like, it doesn't matter if you're in solitary confinement or not. So, thankfully, law enforcement, already knew that about Christian. I don't want Christian to stay in jail. I want them to go to, a special needs home, you know? I think what would be beneficial to them and their affliction, as it were, is being in the company of people like them. They're kind of touched in the head. And I'm starting to wonder, okay, so Cyber... You feel like maybe you're a little bit mentally unstable because you've been exposed to carbon monoxide through your work and stuff like that. Like, you might not be as sharp-witted as you used to be. Like, that's what you've said.
Absolute blasphemy. I'm as sharp as Italian marble.
An Italian marble. Okay. Well, here's the thing. So Christian, if you know about the story of Christian, more recently... For the past few years, because of influence from trolls like the Idea Guy and things like that, he believes that the dimensional merge is going to happen. Like, you're going to wake up one day as your character, and you're going to see Superman flying through the sky, you're going to see Batman fighting crime, you're going to see Spider-Man slinging webs, and you're going to see, the My Little Ponies and the Equestrians in the sky, all flying around. He genuinely believes...
None of those.
Well, okay.
None of those.
How about...
All you pronies and bronies and... cronies, your time is up.
Most of the bronies I knew turned into furries after a while, and they treat the brony saga as a dark time in their life. But no, but here's the dark part, right? The dimensional merge is he says that 50% of the people on Earth are just going to die, straight up. It's just 50% of the people.
Yo, sign me up. Can I be one of the 50%?
No.
I volunteer.
No. And so listen, 25% of the remaining population is going to be stuck on the burning Earth. The Earth's just going to burn and cinder. And the worst thing about that is Christian, when he had access to social media, would use things like the COVID-19 and other real world events as justification for why the dimensional merge was happening. And that, through it all, only 25% of the Earth's population was going to wake up one day and magically become their characters. It would be like me tomorrow waking up like this panda and being a big, tall surfer bro and having the best possible life I possibly can, and you being your white marshmallow dragon, and you being interstellar adventure, and all of us just existing as expected. You continue writing, and most of those letters that would get out from the Christian jail, they weren't supposed to. They were never supposed to see the light of day. Christian would explicitly state, under no circumstances do I want these letters to appear online. And it's just well, when you're talking to certain people, you know what's going to happen. It's do you pinky promise? It's oh, sure, Chris. I totally...
Dude, I big toe promise, dude. Bring those Tootsies over here.
Okay. Anyway, what ends up happening is there's a moment where Christian has another hearing, and to my knowledge, there's only been 3 hearings. One was just reading off the charges and saying, hey, this is what you're guilty of, this is what you're not guilty of. And Christian had, like, you never want to piss off the judge in any of these, like, judgments, right? Like, that's the last thing you want to do. Like, the judge is supposed to be the one person that you stay on good terms with. Preferably your defense, too. And, so his, like, lawyer, Michael Heidenberg, I believe, he's already told Christian, you need to stop writing people outside of jail because this might hurt you in the future when certain details come up. See, Christian, I used to have pity for the guy. I have no pity for him anymore. Do you know why? Go ahead. Guess. I'll sit here. Audience, I invite you all to guess too.
Self-incriminated.
No. No. It's worse than that. Christian actually indirectly kind of wants Barb to die so he can move back into the home, which is never going to happen because the home is mortgaged. I didn't even tell you guys about his financial situation. It's like $500,000 mortgage on the house, and all of their credit cards are maxed out. And what little money Christian could bring in was through Patreon and like online sources. And people stopped contributing money to Christian because, okay, so like, Maxwell, I ask you for a loan. I'm like, hey, Max, can I borrow some money or can I receive money from you? And you're like, what's the money for, Tujo? And I'm like, well, it's going to bills, okay? I'm going to lose the house if I don't pay it now. And so Maxwell's like, okay, well, I want Tujo to remain okay. I'll give him some money. Next time you see me on like live stream, I brag about how I have the most expensive VR headset. I brag about how I have all the new trackers and shit like that. And I brag about all this, that, and the other. That's what happened though. Like Christian, every time people would give him money, Christian would just assume that the money train would never stop coming and that he could just spend all the money and then have enough left over to pay the bills. There came a point where his begging was like, you know, not just because like, listen, he was too dumb to hide the toys and Vidya and Legos that like, you know, he was spending the money on actually. He would just have those in the background in his videos whenever he would appear, like in front of his audience, you know? So his audience would see that he was buying Legos and things. The people that thought they were helping Chris were just enabling him, you know? This all hit to a head one day. It was called the financial crisis because people were done with this shit. And like what ended up happening was he'd be like, you know, this is Christian Wrestling Channel coming from home once again, and the mortgage is really due tomorrow. So please get on eBay, buy the stuff, buy the things. We need money. Buy now. And
it's like Mad Money.
Well, it's like he's losing his goddamn mind because he looks demented as hell. And people, this is the first time in a while that people unilaterally respond negatively. And because like Christian is just shouting at obscenities and things like that, and it's just like, I gave you my mother, now please. And what happened to the money from last month? Well, it went to bills and things and everything. And people were just like, bills and things, huh? Well, that's an awfully funny way to say toys and video games. There's actually a counter.
Oh yeah, yo, all you out there, don't donate to me. I got a lot of bills. These bills are from me buying toys and video games. At least I'm honest.
I think that would be more realistic that you bought like guns and ammo for the impending apocalypse. But
probably I bought a bulldozer and a lot of steel.
I guess it's kind of like toys for adults, right? Like a gun. Anyway, whatever. By the way, sorry Mew, but the live stream was looking like it wasn't going to happen. Artasia was otherwise engaged, but thankfully I had my good friend Cyberpimp and Maxwell to back me up. And then, in response, I exposed them to cringe for a couple hours. I'd say that's a good deal right there. No, I kid.
It's the gift that keeps on giving. Cringy internet.
If Ors was here, he'd shoot me. At least once.
It's okay.
Can I join the Killdozer 2.0? Oh my god. Cyber, you got a fan. Oh, at least you made it now, Mew.
It's going to be bigger and better.
All right. So
This time, I'm gonna put air conditioning inside it.
I thought he had air. Oh wait, he didn't have air conditioning. He had fans.
Yeah, he sacrificed fan space for armor plating.
All right. Well, you guys were asking how Christian escaped from jail to begin with. While he was at the hearings, people were speculating that Christian jumped out of a window from a bathroom and just ran off. Like, that's what they were speculating. And, some people actually bought into the hype because there was a video of, like, a portly woman-man thing that was running naked down the street and got tased. And people were saying that that was Christian. And then there was one where they were rollerblading down the street, and people put like Initial D music to that, where it's like running in the 90s, and it's just like, what the hell? No, that's not Christian. And then people that didn't even know what Christian looked like, right? They would point at any video of somebody that escaped the cops and said, "Hey, look, it's Christian escaping the cops." And my absolute favorite is that you remember watching Drake and Josh when you were a kid, right? You guys watched Drake and Josh.
Dude, that show was a banger.
What about you, Max?
Yeah.
Well, I just remember Drake and Josh in the bathroom, and they have cop hats on now. And like Drake looks over, it's like, "Hey Drake, where's Christian?" Like, it was a trending meme that became popular for a bit. But the fact of the matter remains, no, Christian did not escape jail at all. But I'm just like Gaze Maze. My friend actually bought into the hype. He actually just took it for granted that Christian had somehow evaded the cops and was at large. Possibly coming to a home near you. Possibly breaking into Maxwell's house and stealing his PS5.
I'll skin him.
Actually, there was like a treasure chest that I was going to make, like handmade, like with the planks and stuff. And it was going to contain all of the cringy things I could possibly find online. I was going to hide it out there somewhere, like out in the open, for people to have as like a Easter egg hunt. Leave all these fucking. And I would actually want to collect things. I would imagine that Christian's lock of hair is one of those articles of like relics. You know how they do like with popes and things.
Of cringe.
Yes. We need to establish a museum, but we don't have the internet for that. So I guess a physical museum would only be good for a conversation piece, So when you said I'll skim alive, I'm just imagining you like scalp him and fucking just it's hanging from your wall. And it's like, what's that? It's like, oh, that's from like the lolcow that broke into my house and tried to steal my PS5. But he wasn't getting out of my house that easy. That's dark.
I don't know. Part of the ship, part of the crew.
Part of the ship, part of the crew. Oh, no. All right. No, Christian's situation is looking a little bit bad because he actually wants his own mom to die. That's the most fucked up part here. Like, he wants Barb to just get out of the picture. And if that happens, Christian's going to be homeless. All right? Like, that's what it's looking like.
How long is their jail sentence?
They weren't sentenced because it never went to trial. Because here's my theory, guys. My theory is that every judge that looks at the docket and is just sort of like, I'm not fucking judging over this. Throw it to the next guy. And they keep throwing it to the next judge. And it's like the judge that saw it first, he's like, oh, fuck no, I'm not covering this. You do it. And it's like Judge Maxwell's just like, oh, fuck that. I'm not covering this. You do it. And Judge Cyber is just like, yeah, he can rot in jail. That's basically how it would happen. So, I don't know. And they're going to have to count all that time that they just let Christian stay in jail against his sentence. They're going to have to when they sentence him. And the problem is they don't even know what they're going to sentence Christian on. Because you're not supposed to have relations with your mother, but what's fucked up is Christian wasn't arrested because of that. Christian was arrested because he broke the no contact rule, by taking money from his mom. See, that's it's electronic contact. They had a shared account, and Christian took $600 from that, and he wasn't supposed to, but he didn't care because. And you know what's fucked up? On the day he was arrested, he used that money that he needed to live off of for a presumably long time. He was found like having spent all of that at the mall. Like he spent all of it in like 2 hours, like on random basic bitch shit,
Oh my god.
like a new Switch and shit like that, because he wasn't allowed to go back home.
If you don't buy whole cans, you need the Michelob Ultra Tall Boys and the whole cans, okay? With the crazy straw, because you cut a hole in the whole can and you put the can inside, and then you run your crazy straw out. And you.
Oh no! Hey Vulpus, how you doing? So Christian, people have often speculated about Christian. Like, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you guys, health wise, their blood type is pudding. Okay, like if Christian got shot, the wound would immediately seal around the bullet hole. It'd just be like the blood
like
would
a self-sealing fuel tank from World War II.
Yeah, it would just like seal up. And here's
Majin Buu.
Like Majin Buu. Oh no. Well, Christian's arguably fatter than Majin Buu could ever hope to be. My theory is that like Christian, he's gonna outlive us all. Okay. Not very health wise, but you gotta understand, he's been eating nothing but Hungry Man like TV dinners and McDonald's and like fried fast food. His body is chock full of preservatives. He is like any Well, like think about it this way.
It's in his marrow.
Well, worse than that. Remember when he like cut a hole in his taint because he thought he was growing a second vagina?
What?
He Yeah, he didn't die of an infection. Like a lot of trolls out there were afraid that Christian was just going to die from an infection. My theory is that because of all the preservatives that are just chock full of in his body, the infection had nowhere to go. Like there was no like useful mass, like bodily tissue or mass to move into. So
the infection was like, yo, we better get the hell out of here.
Yeah. Mind you, this is the same person that thought that they had a limited amount of baby gravy. I'll just say baby gravy. Us three are cis white. Well, I'm not white. I'm Asian, but you guys are white, presumably. Unless Maxwell's been lying to me for years. But you guys are like cis white males, and I'm Asian, and we all produce baby gravy. Christian, at one point in his life, he thought that he needed to recycle that. And I won't go into too much graphic detail, but I'll just say that he would mix it with orange Fanta and drink it, because he thought that would go back into his body where it needed to be. He did. I think he skipped like high school biology.
It's
or
the circle of life.
Cyber. I will drop a fucking like anvil on you for saying that. Anyway, that's the most disgusting fact that I know about Christian, is that for years he would do that. And all right, well,
how do you find time?
Oh, Vulpus. I already covered that to excruciating detail when we first started the live stream. But because you asked, I will do a TLDR condensed version. Kira the Wolf is rebranding.
Someone in chat said, I'm white. I'm sorry for your loss, bro.
Get out of here, Cyber. All right.
Oh, no.
Condensed version. Maxwell, Cyber, do you want to take it away before I get into the meat and potatoes? About Kira the Wolf's return? What? You don't want to talk about our grand savior, our grand messiah, Kira the Wolf? He's come to deliver us all from this horrid and wretched world into positivity and beauty. Nothing but positive vibes here.
Yeah, dude, I'm all about getting, like, hypnotized.
Well, that's Hypnotist Sappho. She's another fucking can of worms. Good.
But it's like when Thanos has a little dagger and he's like perfectly balanced as all things should be.
Oh no.
What happens when unstoppable force meets an immovable object?
Okay, I'll just say this.
This is why we need Creator Clash.
Creator Clash. Like, what would it even look like? Would you just challenge somebody? And if, like, see, I only got 4,180 subscribers, but maybe, like, you know, I challenge somebody that's got more subscribers than me and I punch up. They call that punching up when you're, like, targeting people that are, like, above your weight class or whatever.
Nah, I only charge people, like, I only engage people that are, like, lower than me. Like, 1 subscriber lower, that's it.
I like this Backrooms boy, dude. I'd rather go to hell. I'd rather go to hell.
I'd rather go to hell.
All right, so I have a question for you guys. What would you say is a good statute of limitations on? They're not crimes. They're things that piss off the community, like saying the N-word on like a live stream, or maybe like, you know, having the wrong opinion, like you say something transphobic, or you're not trying to be transphobic, but it comes off that way and people take it the wrong way and they cancel you for that. Can we establish some basic guidelines for what a good statute of limitations would be based on the offense? Because like JonTron was revealed to be like racist as all hell, at least that's how the community saw him, and he went right back to being popular again because he provides his his gaming stuff. So what are some good statute of limitations on all these? Like, go ahead.
2 to 5 years. If you hold a grudge after 2 to 5 years, that's just someone being like petty. Oh no, move on. There's like 7 billion people on this planet, or like 8 billion now, and if you're gonna
8.4.
8.4.
That's like 8. That's 8 billion too many. That's 8 billion too many.
So, do you subscribe to those like stones out in the South that dictate that we should only have 500,000 people at all times?
Oh, the Infinity Stones! Hell yeah!
Yeah.
Thanos was right. Half y'all motherfuckers need to go.
Wow! Hey, they're here. They're my audience. You need to treat them well. Okay, they need to be part.
Don't leave now. Don't leave now while the video is going. But afterwards.
That's terrible. You're awful. Okay. So, going back to Kira the Wolf, I'm going to offer you a condensed version of all this, but I do want to ask, like, at what point does somebody, their like aspirations for clout and popularity supersede their capacity for compassion and moral fiber when it relates to their friends as well as their viewers, you know? Like, at what point? Because, like, I would say Logan Paul's already out to lunch. Moist Critical actually seems to give a damn about his audience, as well as, like, It's a Gundam and it's your boy Jamari. They actually seem to give a damn about their audience. You know, they don't go out of their way to piss people off. So,
dude, I remember playing Halo with It's a Gundam back in the day.
Damn.
Like dead ass, like way back yonder in the good old days.
Yeah. I think he's pretty cool at what he does, but
Halo Reach is not canon. Halo Reach doesn't count. I'm sorry to burst your bubble out there.
Doesn't count. It's just out there.
Doesn't count.
All right. So, before I even get into that, something I forgot about Mr. Medicare, he actually left a little bit of advice for us all because he didn't have anything profound.
Wow.
He likened all of this to leaving basically because he was going out for a pack of cigarettes. That's why he treated his being diagnosed with cancer and having so long to live. He's like, think about it as Daddy Jim going out for cigarettes. But a couple of things that he suggested is do not use Discord if you're a content creator. As in, you should not have a Discord server dedicated to your channel. Because if you do, and you say something stupid or your audience says something stupid, you get the flack for that. Which makes sense. I still would do it at some point. The problem is I don't have moderation right now because I don't know who would have the time and wherewithal to moderate. And you both know I don't have time for it. So, but anyway.
I can't even upload models.
We're going to help you with that. But VRChat needs to get their shit straightened out. All right. Kira the Wolf, he's back as Radiance. He's going to shine bright against all the hateocracy, bigotry, and nonsense. And he still, to this day, is going to ascertain that he is innocent of all charges, that everything that has been brought forth to him has been lies, slander, rumors, none of it founded in anything resembling fact. Which is absolute bullshit. And he's like saying, well, social media doesn't affect my life. And, if you're trying to become a content creator or a prominent person, you're going to have to use social media to get to there, right? Like, you're going to have to, some form of it. Like, to get noticed and reputable. You don't get to just be like, we put it on a throne and treat it with so much importance, but it doesn't affect my life. And it's like, bullshit. That's how you got canceled to begin with. Because everybody found all your dirty deets and they raked you over the coals with it. So, him saying that, and for transparency's sake, I'm going to be completely honest with you all. When I first watched the video, like weeks ago, I could only get through 2/3 of the video before I just shut it down. Kira the Wolf, he acts like he kisses the viewer. He's just like, mwah. And I'm like, no! Like a piece of me died that day. Like when I first saw that.
Oh, hell yeah. When everybody,
and worse yet, he starts just saying, look how shiny I am. Look how shiny. And he's just playing with like the background and how radiant it looks. And it's just like, it pissed me off. Just a little bit, okay? It's like that meme where it's like, this makes me angry. But yeah, radiance, more like radiation. I've run a local furry community, and TBH, if a person is banned, they don't ever get to rejoin. The rules had a warning and 3-strike system. I'm pretty sure if you found out what Kira the Wolf was guilty of, like, that'd be worth 3 strikes and a ban, But is that like a good moderation system? Like 3 strikes, you're out? What do you guys think about that?
I think the case by case.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's look at it like this. He wants to come back. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no. If it's just a generalized, like, you have an established TOS and someone breaks it 3 times, depending on severity, yeah. But something in that case, I think you're kind of like once and done. That's that's the big old El Rip Bozo. You don't get to come back from that.
Why is it that whenever I cover a lol cow or I cover somebody like this, why is it almost always pedophiles, zoophiles, things like that? It's never drug dealers or people that like murdered somebody. It's always either a zoophile or a pedophile. That's the skeleton in the closet that gets exposed. Always. Like, there are exceptions to the rule, but usually it's a pedophilia or zoophilia. Like, in most cases, when you find out that somebody's engaged in dirty deeds. I feel like that should be a show. Dirty Deeds. I'd watch it.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway.
I direct it.
You direct it? All right. So, Kira the Wolf, he sort of had this long since fade into irrelevancy situation where he would post a lot of videos that were really meant for his patrons. I would imagine that that's the reason why his patrons left him, is because Kiro, ever so slightly trying to get back into the good graces of other furries, he would upload videos that were actually based on, like, imagine if Cyberpimp, you asked me to make you a video. You're like, you give me a topic, you pay me some money, and I make a video for you based on your suggestion. And it's shared by people that paid the same amount as you. Or, like, lesser. Because of your efforts. That's supposed to be something unique to you. I upload it to YouTube without telling you and just act like, oh, well, it should be mixed in the pot. That kind of diminishes the reason why you paid me in the first place, I'd imagine. Like, it's less important now. It's not as unique as you kind of had in mind. So, I don't know. Like, he keeps trying to get back into the good graces of others. He keeps trying to, like, become relevant again. And the fact that he's here on VR chat, you know what, ladies and gentlemen? Let's go ahead and look at that real quick. I'm just curious. I'm morbidly fucking curious. I wanna see if, like, Kira the Wolf, if I can see him on a user, like, search bar. Or let's start with Radiance, and I'll tell you what I see. Radiance. Because I didn't even bother looking. Inconclusive. Probably Kira the Wolf. Probably sucks ass more than fucking... Kiro. The wolf. But yeah, we're gonna get off the subject matter pretty quick. I think it's worth the look up, you know? Did I tell you guys I actually saw his fursuit at a furry convention, but it wasn't him? I saw him at Anthrocon. By the way, the search was inconclusive. I couldn't find anything. I knew it wasn't him because he was too short. He was like, the tip of his head met my nose. So he's already too short. And he was just wearing a fursuit head with a trench coat. And this was years ago.
He was just dehydrated. You know, when you don't drink water, you shrink down like those little things way back in the day. Y'all probably don't know about them. Little like dinosaurs, you threw them in water and they grew. Hell yeah! So when you're dehydrated, you just shrink down.
So, you know, that just reminds me of that picture where like somebody opened a fursuit and they put a skeleton in there. And so they made a photo where the skeleton is exposed because the fursuit head has come off, and it's like reaching out for some water. It's like, fursuiters, take note. Be sure to drink the amount of water that you need, otherwise you're gonna become dehydrated like this poor sucker. And he's just like, his mouth's agape, and it's just like, ah, water. I mean, then I see those like fucking memes where it's like, in this direction, you can go 5,000 miles for dick. If you go this direction, you go 1 mile for water. And the person usually chooses dick. Like, they go the opposite direction. They're like, fuck the water. I'm going to go for some dick. Anyway.
They never make it.
No, they're not going to. By the way, everybody in chat, I'm going to assume that Sexy Rexy, this is something that I've assumed weeks ago when they first became prominent here on the channel. But I'm assuming they're 14 years old, by the way. So no inappropriate contact, no inappropriate comments. Treat them all right. But Sexy Rexy, right? I think they're my fan troll. I don't know what it is. But they sort of bring this unique quality anytime that they leave a comment on my channel. You know? And it fills my heart with pride, knowing that I could bring somebody. Oh, by the way, the Sexy Rexy, they pissed off Star Raccoon Power. You probably don't even know who that is.
Their name is Sexy Rexy and they're 13?
14.
What a weird world.
Well, it says
Damn.
I'm not Sexy Rexy, so, you know. Anyway, they went into someone else's chat.
They could be anybody.
Well,
Even you.
they could be anybody, actually. You're right.
Even me.
All right. So
Give him a minute, he'll turn blue in a second.
they go into somebody else's chat, and like in the chat, the guy's talking about, yeah, I've been working on losing weight, and Sexy Rexy just says he's fat, and he got kicked out of that chat. And I'm just like, damn, like,
Damn, absolute savage.
Yeah.
Don't break your stride, King.
don't break your stride, King. Yeah, Kelly's like on the money there. You know, try stirring the pot. See, Kelly Shea, if ever there is a day that I become a big successful YouTuber and I have my own Discord channel, I will designate Kelly Shea and Vulpus and Kaya Wu to be my moderators. They will be like my vassalage, going out there and moderating things. Which really just...
I'll be the Vaseline.
You'll be the Vaseline.
Yeah.
Whenever I think of Vaseline, I just think of the senior prank where we would slather all the doorknobs with Vaseline, but we would try to like limit it so that you wouldn't know that something was slathered on the door until you touched it, and then you'd just be like, "Oh no, Vaseline, ew," and then just wipe it on the nearest person. That was kind of a dick move, but, you know, we did a lot of stupid shit like that. And you know what? Anybody that fell for it, they deserved it. I'll tell you, I didn't tell you guys too much about my high school, did I?
Enlightened us.
We had a 1950s bomb shelter in the basement, and you were guaranteed if, like, the radiation outside didn't kill you, the asbestos in the shelter would. And there was, like, asbestos
That's what I'm
everywhere.
talking about.
And like the asbestos, right? You could like hit the like top of the locker, and it would just spill down into your locker from the vents. You know, and just that was not good.
So Just don't breathe it. Just like put a sock on your face or something.
Put a sock on your fucking face? Okay,
Yeah, big old femboy sock. Just run around
a
there.
big old femboy sock.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's terrible. You guys. Okay, so
Yo, if any of you people in chat have thigh-high socks that say Snickers down the sides, we can't be friends. You're gonna bring those socks here. We have to burn them.
we do have the fire right here, man. So, just bring those socks right over. Everything will be forgiven. We will just completely not acknowledge the fact that you had thigh highs that had said Snickers down the sides. We'll just burn it on the fire. No harm, no foul. All right. So, I want to talk about some social media posts I've seen back in the day. Like, not back in the day, but like more recently.
Someone said put Vaseline on a doorknob in a haunted house.
Yes! Let's do that. Let's make it happen. Anyway.
See, what I do is I sneak into fire departments and I put Vaseline all over the fire apparatus and the ladders.
Oh, that's shitty. Okay. So, there were some viral videos I saw go viral just in real time. And one of them, right? You guys like Waffle House? You guys ever been to Waffle House?
I've been there once, and it was a
Dude, Waffle House is a banger. I could eat like 9 eggs.
Yeah, dude. Like, it's cheap and nice and like all that stuff. But here's the thing. I'm still trying to figure out the story surrounding this particular incident at Waffle House, but like, I can't even be specific because like incidents like this are happening all over the country right now. Like, people in public just acting like it's a Super Smash Brothers brawl going out in public, just punching the fucking shit out of each other. And so...
All the MSG in the food.
All the MSG in the food. Like, oh, that's another thing before we continue. Christian, right? Do you think maybe a contributing factor to them going insane is like all the salty foods they've been eating for years? Because salt leaves the body without water, and you kind of need that to have like conscious thought and stuff like that. Maybe the hypertension squeezed his blood cells too tight and he's not thinking straight, so that's why he's like perceptively crazy right now.
If they had a lot of fish, it was probably the mercury in the fish. It drove them insane, just like the Mad Hatter.
Exactly.
I don't think Christian likes seafood.
See, a lot of people in chat probably don't know that the reason why the Mad Hatter got that name, or throughout history, that hatters or hat makers would use mercury to like brine and starch and waterproof hats.
Yep.
And just breathing in the vapors throughout your entire career just drove you mad.
Yeah. Anyway, there was a viral video that hit recently on social media where basically, goodbye, Del. Basically what happened was, I don't know if the eggs were served cold or the French fries weren't crispy enough or the waffle was like more than mediocre, but everybody just got up and started brawling. There was even like a ghetto version of fucking like John Cena. Like, he was just, like a shirtless white guy was just there, and people were like saying, "Yo, it's John Cena. What's John Cena doing at this Waffle House?" And he's like, getting in on the action. And like all these people are attacking the servers, and like one girl, she takes on 4 customers because they're all trying to like nail her ass, and she's like putting up a fight. The girl knows how to fight. She's like nothing but a string bean, but she's like putting up a fight. She is not going to go down. And like a customer even lobs a chair at her. I'm still trying to figure out if the chair is one of those aluminum chairs, or it's like hard plastic, because I could see it going either way. But she just fucking like Dark Souls dodges that shit. She just blocks it with her forearm. And I'm like, God damn, like, she was on point that day. And the worst thing about it is her coworker has to come over and hug her from behind and pull her off, like, to the back room and just be like, yo, you've had a little bit too much, honey. Like, you're like, and like everyone's just pissed off. People getting on the table. They're like kicking over things. They're throwing shit at each other. And I'm still trying to figure out, like, who started all of this? Right? Because, like, I have seen videos where the server or the waitress or the people behind the counter, they start throwing shit at people that don't leave, that breach, like, a certain rule. Like, somebody trying to come onto them or something like that. But this was, like, a basically glorified cat fight because it was practically all females were getting in on the action, okay? Like, 401, that girl can fight, okay? And the fact that she just dodges that chair with a casual grazing of her left arm, holy shit, man. I want her on my team. Like, I don't care, like, what's going on. Like, if she's on my side, we're good to go. But I'm wondering if she's in the wrong. Did you guys see that video?
No, I miss bum fights though.
You miss bum fights? Dude, that was a terrible premise because a lot of those bums were just exploited for money, you know? That's all it was. It was like Jack.
Just like me. I'm a
Well,
bum.
we don't want to talk about your time in the military, okay? We like nobody wants to hear about your Navy days, Cyber. Nah, I kid. Cyber was not in the Navy, by the way. He was in the Marine Corps. He was a tanker. He'd probably be
I was
in.
Lego man, this big.
Yeah. Have you ever watched the series Customer Wars? There was one time the workers were late on crabs, whatever. They were in stock. The customers were doing a free-for-all fight to get the first crab. I heard about that. That's dangerous, right?
What?
You don't get
like in a buffet or what?
Hi. No, it was like a seafood restaurant. And I think the restaurant actually had to close down for a little while because like of the the open-ended fight, just going at it, like, you know, fighting the war.
Damn.
Yeah. So I would just like to lay a simple premise to you all. Never get in the way of a fat man and his food, okay? Like, never. All right? The fat man don't care. If you're like a little string bean, the fat man's going to roll right through you like a freight train, okay? I've seen it happen in action. Okay, the fat man don't care. All right? You can hit the fat man. The fat man will probably just glance it off and just keep going. Fat man don't care. All the fat man cares about in the moment is his food. All right? Let's see. I have seen the video. She was blacklisted and fired from going to another Waffle House. I had a feeling she might have started it because of how negative they responded. I had my suspicions, but I wanted to vouch for the girl because, like, you know, she shouldn't have been attacked by 5 people. All right. Kelly Shea thinks it's his mom. Your mom been working at Waffle House and getting into fights with like customers. I remember the story of like bum fights, by the way. And I remember it being sad, you know? It was started by a bunch of teenage kids that would pay money to like bums to fight. And it sort of turned into like a corporate thing because people bought the license for the show, but they did it in like a sleazy way, right? Because they like removed the whole spirit of the show. And it became like unprofitable after that because they couldn't do the same shit they used to do. The exploitation of fucking bums should never happen. These are people that are vulnerable and they're just trying to make it through the day. You know, a lot of them didn't get even a lick of the money that they were promised. They didn't get any royalties, by the way, like after the fact. They were just like, hey, we'll give you $20 if you hurt yourself.
Dude, Ollie the bum dude.
You'll eat a bum.
No, Ollie the bum.
Ollie the bum. I remember him now.
Dude, he had bum fights tattooed across his knuckles.
Yeah, well, that was brand recognition right there. That was a terrible show. Like, I feel dirty just for watching those videos after the fact. Like, as a kid.
Me. Shit was lit.
Shit was lit. Wow. Cyber Pimp doesn't care where the media comes from. As long as it's entertaining, he'll watch it. Doesn't matter. It's like,
indeed.
Oh, the origins for this involved two of the actors dying on set. Cool. I want to watch it just for that simple premise alone. Oh, what's that? 5 actors died on set?
We need a retake of that scene.
Yeah, we need a You're terrible. You're awful. All right. So let's go ahead and like one of the other viral videos. How do you guys feel about raccoons? Do you like them? Do you dislike them? Well, how do you feel about raccoons?
They're okay.
They're okay.
They're pretty lit.
All right. I'm talking about raccoons in the wild. Like these are like wild raccoons, not like okay. So you guys have
Dude, I like it when they run and pick up stuff with their little hands and then they run away.
Yeah. So you guys got no problems with little raccoons, right? No problems, right?
Nope.
Okay.
But possums, y'all better watch out, boy.
Possums are crazy. You know. All right. So there was a viral video of who I would like to say is probably the best mother of 2022. Because the video dropped like circa November, I want to say. November going into December. So So, like, a little girl, right? She's, like, got to be 6, 7 years old. She's coming back from school. She's got her nice little pretty pink Barbie doll backpack on. This is purely from memory, so the reality could be entirely different from what I'm recounting to you all. But she's got her pretty pink backpack on. She's got, like, blonde hair. She looks like a typical suburban kid. She gets onto her front porch, and a raccoon is, like, crawling up to her. And she looks down in confusion because she doesn't know what the raccoon's doing. And the raccoon starts, like, grabbing her legs and pulling closer. And she starts freaking out. She's like, ah! Ah! Like, spazzing out. And this is all caught on security cam. And the raccoon doesn't, like, really look like it's biting her or anything like that. It just looks like it's kind of, like, holding on to her. Like, because it wants something, I guess. The mother comes out. And she just fucking reaches down, just grabs the fucking raccoon by the back of the neck, the scruff of its neck, and, like, yanks it off. And she's like, go inside, sweetheart. Go inside. And the kid goes into the fucking house, and she's, like, meanwhile, she's holding this raccoon that's, like, scrunched up, reaching for her from behind, just be like, ah, like, making this inhuman noise. And she's just holding it out and looking at the neighbor. It's like, I got a rabbit raccoon. It's a rabbit raccoon. Ah! And she tries yeeting it like a football a couple times, and it won't let go. And on the third take, she just, like, throws the fucker. It hits the ground, hits its head, like, on the ground, bounces a bit, and she goes back inside, locks the door. And the raccoon, it just kind of, like, looks around for a second and then just walks off like nothing happened. It's just like, well, better go. And I'm just like, God damn.
Dude, raccoons are built to take a hit.
They're
You know what groundhogs do to groundhog? Groundhog's like a little tank.
I mean, that just makes me think of Rigby from, like, the regular show, where he's always challenging Mordecai to, like, punchies. It's like, hey, let's play punchies. And he gets punched. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Rigby, he's like the one-cheeked wonder. Because he got hit so hard in the game of punchies that he lost his left butt cheek. So he got called the one-cheeked wonder.
It just flew off.
Well, they had to amputate it because there was so much tissue damage, I think. Anyway.
Oh my god.
Anyway. So here's what happened. Like, the reactions were what really made it for me. Because all the news coverage was, like, there. But I like how one person was acting like the raccoon, and he has himself, like, in a sling, and he's, like, all hurt and stuff. And he's just like, well, you see, the actual fact of the matter is that the girl stole my lunch, and I was just going to ask her for it back. But then her mom came out and beat the shit out of me. And, now I need to, like, get medical attention. And one of the other people on Twitter is just like, and that's the facts. The whole truth, nothing but the truth, and the whole truth, nothing but the truth. And then he segues in that story about the hamster that...
So help me God.
Yeah. Then he talked about the hamster that broke into the female cage and basically fucked as many girls as he possibly could. Like 400 hamsters were fucked by, like, one single male. And the only reason that they knew is, one, the females were all kind of, like, growing bigger, and the male that, like, had snuck into the enclosure and went at it, he was, like, very tired after that. Like, he's, like, visibly tired. He's like... like, panting hard. And it's just like...
Dude is literally gassing.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just kind of surprised that, like, a raccoon would just come up to the little girl. Come up to the fucking front door, of all things, to grab onto her like that.
I'm gonna snatch him up, dude. It's the skinwalkers. They're gonna come get you.
The skinwalkers are like it took the form of a raccoon just to, like, harass a little girl.
Hell yeah, that's what I'd be doing if I was a skinwalker.
No, you'd be pretending to be, like, a cute cuddly raccoon. When it got close, you'd claw, like, the person's face off. But, ah!
Nah, dude, I'd be a diamondback rattlesnake in a mailbox.
So somebody opens.
Specific.
Yeah, why so
Yes.
why so specific about that though?
Don't worry about it.
Because I'm just imagining, like, old man Jenkins going to his mailbox, like, opening the fucking mailbox and just be like, "All right, I hope I get my check today." Ah! Some other thing that I saw in the news. You know how, like, they're trying to bring back old shows, but they keep missing the point every time? And they tried that shit with Velma. So they redesigned Shaggy, and now he's... God.
No, go ahead. I'm very disappointed.
I mean, I'm not even bothered by the character redesigns. The problem is, I would have done... Like, this is how I would have done it. It's like, okay, the original Scooby-Doo gang, what was that, 60s or 70s? Like, they're old now. If this is like 2022, 2023, fine, whatever. They're no longer the hip young teenagers that they were back in the day. So they had to pass the torch on to, like, the new young bloods that are going to take over from now. That would make a lot more sense to me. Like, even showing, like, Shaggy, like, you know, smoking the ganja with, like, new Shaggy, you know, and, like, passing on his like, intimate details about going on mysteries to him and just being like, this is all you need to know. At the first sign of trouble, get your ass out of Dodge. Just run out of there. And, like, you know, oh, and there's no Scooby. There's no fucking dog. There's not even a cat. There's no pet. I don't remember a pet, do you?
Absolute blasphemy.
Exactly. And Japan is doing a Tom and Jerry reboot, and it's pretty good. Well, I hope so. Because the Velma that we got, supposedly the whole reason that exists in the first place is the simple fact that they couldn't legally do it. Like, they wanted, the whole premise for the show was to make Velma gay and, like, more like a typical lesbian that you'd see today. That supposedly that was the whole point of this. Like, making her gay for the sake of making her gay and stuff like that. And it's like, you can do that, but you didn't have to call it Velma, and you didn't have to try to cockamamie bullshit tie-in to something that's, like, cherished as a childhood, like, memory, you know? And
Right.
Shaggy's design ain't that bad. Like, but he also can exist as his own character. He doesn't have to be new Shaggy, you know? I wasn't even bothered by their redesigns. I was more bothered by the fact that they were named after the characters that they're supposed to replace. So that caused some problems. And the ratings? It's like an 11% right now, approval rating. Man, the Japanese Tom and Jerry reboot looks good. But, anyway. Back into the meat and potatoes about what we've been talking about. Cure the Wolf, right? Why is he still trying years after the fact? And my question to you all is, why does he still have 89,000 people following him right now?
I don't know.
Memes.
Yeah, probably.
That's very depressing because, like, you're basically going to allow... Okay, the thing that most people are pissed off with Cure the Wolf about is the simple fact that he managed to get away with it scot-free. All of his crimes against humanity and formality completely absolved because of the statute of limitations, and he got to dodge everything. Snake Thing's in jail. He's not going to be blabbing too much. Like, he's in jail for like 40 years. So whatever Snake Thing knows, no one's going to get a hold of him in jail unless he gets killed because I don't need to tell you guys, pedophiles aren't exactly respected while on the inside, you know? They don't tend to last very long. Even Jared Fogle got, like, the shit beat out of him because people found out who he was and what he did. So if that's any indication as to how long Snake Thing has, he's going to be in jail for a long-ass time for doing unspeakable things to his nephew. So Cure the Wolf, he waited for all of this to happen. And this is just a theory. It could be complete bullshit. I completely admit to you all. But it almost seems like Cure the Wolf's rebranding, his return, his coming back, his, like, you know, his assumption that enough people have forgotten and don't give a shit about what he's guilty of, they can just kind of schmooze on back in and resume where he left off. It seemed eerily close to when Mr. Medicare announced that he was retiring officially from the internet. I feel like this is not a coincidence. Because, like, him and his Sappho did something similar. when Kiwi Farms, you guys know what a Kiwi Farms is, right?
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Cyber?
Yeah, look at them little kiwis running around.
Nah, man.
Kiwi Farm's like a love-hate relationship. There's like a lot of weird shit on there, like more weird than you'd want to know.
Well, the whole premise of Kiwi Farms is that they're supposed to be laughing at people that are considered problematic, bizarre, weird from a distance, and not really getting into their everyday life. In fact, like Null, Joshua Moon, he's the guy that owns the site, he made it a point that Christian was to be protected from that point onwards because I guess all the trolls figured out, yeah, it turns out that harassing the same person for years and, like, you know, affecting their everyday life with trolling attempts to get goose and gas out of them kind of really fucked Christian in the end because, like, their perception of reality went out the window. They legit still believe that Quickville, like their personal town, exists somewhere in the recesses of our memories. And that that Sanchu's real, all those characters are real. But Sappho just, all she had to do when she was like sort of biding her time, waiting for the heat to get off, she waited for the Kiwi Farms to go down to make her like grand rebranding, and well, not rebranding, her grand reappearance. And then she got banned off of Twitter again because, you know, every time that she leaves and comes back, legions of minors will come and adopt the mark of the beast. They think that they're zoophiles.
Mm-hmm.
She spends time with them, gets into their egg salad, and says, hey, you know, you don't just have options between humans. You can have anything you want. And it's just like, what? Because, like, kids will, like, say, you know, I love Hypnotist Sappho. She's better than my real mom could ever hope to be, and she actually loves me, unlike my real mother. People would say shit like that, you know?
People be wildin'.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey, I don't want to steal you guys' thunder. If you guys got anything to say in reaction to all of this, I'd be more than inclined to listen. Really, Max? You need to bring some topics of interest to talk about here. I could talk about some more,
I'm just a fox.
What about you, Cyberpimp? Marshmallow Dragon?
Streamline VRC avatar uploading.
Okay.
I'm gonna campaign. I'm gonna run for secretary of the internet. I'm gonna make a new thing.
What?
That's literally what the
Department-
character creator is.
I'm gonna call it the Department of the Internet, and it's gonna be ruled by me.
You know,
Okay.
I liked it. Well, okay.
And I just want everything easy peasy. Just like have a drop box where you just drop shit in, and then you type put this here, and then it uploads it there and does shit. You know, kind of like an email,
Kind of like an email,
but easier.
but easier than
Yep.
an email. All right.
Typing to a bot, and the bot does everything else.
So you're basically advocating for control of the hard shit to go to an AI, like an artificial intelligence.
Hell yeah.
You know what? I just like a Kelly Shea. His immediate reaction is, "You better not raise my taxes. You better not raise my taxes."
Yo, I'm gonna give free internet for all. Free internet for all. You're gonna have.
Oh God,
We got this cool thing. Here it is. Here's the thing.
we got the internet
We're gonna
czar
have
here,
free
everybody.
internet. Free internet. But to access certain sites, you're gonna have a paid subscription, like it's Netflix.
Oh, here we
So
go.
if you want to go on, so if you want to go on Twitter, it's not just gonna cost $8 a month. It's gonna be like 15. Okay.
No,
So that means if you got internet and you pay 15 a month, you can only look at Twitter. Okay. And if you like Google, okay,
Jesus.
for the low price of $99.99 a month, you can look up whatever you want on Google. Anything. That's it. That's it. But if Google takes you to, like, I don't know, Mozilla Firefox page or some shit, like, nope, no, can't go there. Better back up.
You know, actually, Maxwell, hearing all this from Cyber, you know, I just thought of something. Could you imagine the riots that would happen if, like, his policies got like, you know, put on fur affinity or something like that, like preventing furries from like
Well,
seeing their furry porn.
God.
Like the furries would collectively lose their mind.
crucified.
Yeah, you'd be crucified. Like they would grab their pitchforks and
I would put
torches so fast.
I would put a $9.99 paywall on all things NSFW. Anything.
Oh no!
So if you content filter, anything, it doesn't matter. So, okay, you want to look at anything NSFW? It's $10 a month in addition to your internet bill. So that way, it keeps it pure for all those Puritans down there and all you kiddos playing Fortnite. You know, because you can't. There's no way you could afford V-Bucks and a $10 subscription at the same time. There ain't no way. You're either gonna have to let your Darth Vader skin go, or you're gonna have to get your goddamn internet access.
I just like the reactions in the chat. It's like you know, sounds like taxes with the extra steps to me. And then it's like, all things NSFW is paid? No! And it's like, oh no, not the Rule 34 payroll. I'll just you know what?
Rule 34.
I am
Rule 34 paywall.
listen. I'm gonna take a minute to like read through these comments because, like, okay, the reason people probably follow Kiro is because they zoos themselves. Does that mean we got like 90,000 zoos out there? I wouldn't be surprised if it was like the entire internet, but that seems like a lot. Okay, there's a lot of sexual degeneracy happening right now. Like if I was like you know, more inclined with the Warhammer 40k, you know, like whole like lore thing, I would be appointing you guys as, like, you know, prime inquisitors. I'd be giving you bolt guns and saying, go enforce the will of the emperor on the people. I don't know.
I would be a living saint. I'd be like Saint Celestine, yo.
Anyway, kiwis are cool. They're cool to eat. Well, Far Striker,
Delicious.
you probably don't understand the kiwis we're referring to are called kiwi farmers, and they're basically assholes that hide under the blanket of anonymity on kiwi farms as their main repository. And it's from there that they get to make fun of people behind their back without having to face too much, you know, intervention. But that transgender girl, Keffels, she basically went after them all piss and vinegar. Also, probably people who don't know that he did fully too honestly. The thought of Kiro's main followers being children is honestly disturbing and scary. He needs to be locked up. Yes, but it's probably not going to happen because what he's guilty of is years overdue. Dang, I haven't ate kiwis in years. Do y'all eat kiwis with or without the skin? I eat it with the skin for that fiber, but that's just me. Oh, Panda, you also know what kids follow Sappho, that's good. Oh, you. All right. Anyway, no, it's just a sorry state of affairs, but I am kind of curious. Like, if the internet is no longer the wild, wild west of internet, right? Like, there's all of these efforts to, like, remember the whole net neutrality bullshit that they were trying to pass? And
yeah, boy.
people keep trying to control the internet, and I've seen like small groups, political groups, special interest groups, and the internet isn't meant to be controlled by one unifying body. It's sort of fragmented for a reason, you know? How are you going to perceive the internet here in the United States versus China? Or, like, because I sure as fuck don't want Chinese regulations put on my ability to surf the web and access whatever sites I do.
Winnie the Pooh, Bing chilling.
Jing Jiao Jing Wei. When you say that, I just think of like fucking.
Band.
I just think of no. I think of Jackie Chan Adventures, that cartoon show back in the day. You guys remember that?
Oh, dude, that show is lit.
So whenever you say that, I just think of.
Oh, Jackie, one more thing.
I just think of like fucking like Uncle hitting Jackie before like chanting or doing some bullshit like that.
Yeah.
And that show is messed up in some ways, but whatever. So as far as drama goes, I'm not saying that we're like at the end of the rope, but there are like what?
Bing chilling.
Jesus Christ. No, you don't want to go down that road. Cyber. I think that Maxwell is correct. We should probably keep it PG-13. Well, we already fucked up with that. Okay, never mind. We're not going to keep it. We can't keep it fucking PG-13 anymore. So let's go ahead, and I want to pose to you all an open-ended question. How do you feel about AI-assisted content creation, be it videos or artwork or anything that is good?
No, finish.
Anything that's like assisted with artificial intelligence. How do you feel about it?
I'll let Cyber go first because I have a lot to say on that.
Good. Cyber.
Honest.
It has its places and purposes. I know a while ago, as far as like music's concerned, if I'm not mistaken, it might be Warner Brothers that owns the rights and the record labels that Tupac recorded. And years after Tupac's death, they used AI to replicate Tupac's voice, and they released a song.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, it got a lot of backlash because you used the dead man's voice. Long after he's able to defend himself or say anything to make music, and whoever capitalized on it, whoever the proceeds went to, that's like up for speculation. But so we'll say you could use it to replicate or recreate something, but I don't necessarily you can use it to create something. So Robin Williams is no longer with us. He passed away. He will forever be the voice of the genie. However, it breaks down to like a moral question of, we could use AI and Pixar's voice recognition system to take Robin Williams' voice as the genie and just voice over or redub another Aladdin animated film. We can do that. Like, not we, but Disney or just technology can do that. But then you get into a debate whether or not his daughter Zelda would take it to court, or whether or not he still... Yes, Robin Williams' daughter, her name is Zelda.
It all makes sense.
People don't know that.
It all makes sense.
Yep, it's all come full
the
circle.
Legend of Zelda. Maxwell, we need to go on an adventure. Good.
So in the terms of like recreating something, I think that's one question. But in the terms of trying to create something, it doesn't have the capability.
No.
If you put it in a dark room, or you only feed it images of dark buildings or skies, city skylines and stuff like that, it's just going to recreate that. It only can replicate what you give it in a bastardized format. However, it makes some banger pictures. It can be used to make really cool shit. But I personally wouldn't call it art.
No.
I would call it just an imitation of it's an imitation of a recreation.
Good night, Backrooms.
To put it bluntly. But if you're you could. Now, if you're using it to procedurally generate something where you have some kind of algorithm where, there's a video game, I know there's a Backrooms game that came out where every time you go in there, no matter how many times you enter, every floor of the Backrooms is going to be a different layout. Every time.
Right.
Every time. It'll never be the same. So I think it could be applied in a sense like that, but as far as just AI art goes, I think it's cool. I think it's fun, but it's not going to replace artists. But I do think it will, if we're talking in terms of digital art now, not music or map making, but in the terms of just making art and digital art, stuff like that, I think it will humble artists.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is, there's a lot of artists out there that are sitting pretty, they're high rollers in the communities. They're charging $200, $300, $400, $500, $800 for full illustrations of various pieces and different fandoms and interests. It's only a matter of time before their style gets replicated or imitated to a point, rather, because it's imitation. It's only a matter of time where it gets imitated to a point where I think they're going to have to learn to either coexist or they're going to have to fluctuate in prices.
Wait.
You know what I mean? Because we live in a material world. And
Oh God, you're bringing Madonna into this.
At the end of the day, yeah. It's like, well, we live in a material world, and, you know, let's be real. We just came out of a world pandemic for like 2 years where everything was shut down and money was tight for everybody. So people have to really ask themselves, is this $150, $200, $300 commission, or obviously if this was a VR chat avatar custom from the ground up commissioned by somebody, they'd probably pay upwards of $900. Like, that's like entry level now, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
So it's going to get to the point where you're going to have to prioritize your prices and your audience. And I think AI is going to step in there, and it's going to be the common denominator. So,
see, like, I'm sorry to say.
Also, the artists that people know, or the artists that they're sought after. They're in the fandom, like I said, real heavy hitters. Those people physically aren't going to do art forever.
No.
They're not. They're either going to get old and die, or they're gray manes, or, just things are going to change in their life. And if they do continue to do art till they retire from it, I wish them the best of luck. But AI is gaining traction. We've seen it in smartphones. We've seen it in, like I said, in music creation, in map building for game engines. And we've seen it in digital art. So people are going to have to get used to the idea of it, because 20, 30 years ago, people didn't like the idea of using GPS instead of reading a map to navigate. And now we use GPS and everything.
Oh,
so
no.
It's
even when the GPS puts you in the water?
Years ago, and like 20, 30 years ago, teachers would say, you're not going to have a calculator all the time. You're going to have to learn how to do this in your head. Well, number one, first and foremost, that's bullshit, because ain't nobody going to remember dozens of mathematical formulas off the top of your head unless you're a savant.
Hey, platypus.
You use it every day. And now everybody has a smartphone. You turn it sideways, the screen shifts, now it's a scientific calculator. So, and you could graph on it and everything.
Yeah.
So, that's how I feel about AI art, or imitated images. I don't call it artificially generated, call it imitated. But
yeah.
I like it. The only thing I like about it, though, is I'm eager to see what it's capable of doing in the terms of 3D modeling and 3D sculpting. So if you say, I want whatever, I want a military dude in full kit with a rifle in this era of operation, like 1980s,
Afghanistan.
I want to see what it could do. That, yeah. If you're like, oh, you click it in, I want a Spetsnaz, soldier, Afghan war era. So I want to see if it could generate stuff like that just in a 3D space. So you don't have to have, dozens of people on a team making a video game working on one character. Like Star Wars Battlefront, they'd like, look at Darth Vader. There's probably 3 or 4 artists that just worked on Darth Vader. There's probably one person that worked on just Darth Vader's cape.
Yeah.
And like how it blows around in the wind and shit, and like the shine on his armor, and like how it gets dirty if he's like on Tatooine. So I think in terms of like creation like that, it's gonna gain a lot of traction. I don't really think it's gonna gain a lot of traction in just digital art.
Fair enough.
So I think it'll be more of just a trend, more of like a hobby, a fun hobby. If you didn't get a chance to play around with it. But calling it art is like very loose. Like I say, I call it it's imitated images, because it's trying to imitate something else. But people say imitation is the purest form of flattery. But
true.
I guess that's not true if it's done by a robot, because robots don't have souls. They're kind of like gingers.
Well, wait a minute. What would you guys consider to be affordable prices for art? Just
what?
What would you guys consider to be affordable prices for art? Like, what would be considered affordable for somebody in our age bracket, maybe a little younger, maybe a little bit older? Well, probably younger, but go ahead.
Well, if you have a car, you're probably spending if you have a car, you're probably spending $60 upwards, sometimes $70 to fill your car's fuel tank.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on where you live and like your fuel range and shit like that. So, like I said, it's a luxury. Art is a luxury, but it is not a necessity.
No.
So if you can justify spending like double the amount of money that you would put into fueling your car to go to work or to go and get groceries, that's like stepping up into like high range in my perspective.
Yeah.
It's like if there's people out there charging like $120, $30, $40, $50, $200 for a single character full body render, I think that's steep. You know,
Whoa.
Their
Wait a minute.
talent may reflect this is not a shot at their talent or their capabilities or their skills. It's just that people as customers have to understand what they're giving up, but artists as the sellers, as business people, have to understand their base. So if they're outpricing their base and their base can't keep up, then they're going to either have to, humble their prices or lose their base.
Well, wait.
Because everybody wants to be up on Mount Olympus, okay? But you still have to remember the people down here that put you up there.
But Cyber, you're telling me that you wouldn't spend $5,000 on your character here commission? You mean to tell me that you wouldn't commission Miles DF? What? Say
I don't even
what?
know who the fuck that is. I walked in my house and now I'm paying at them.
Okay. Before I pass the torch off to Maxwell, Miles DF is a guy who got notoriety because he would charge like thousands and thousands of dollars for basic bitch commissions. And he's like either from Poland or Germany. It's never been explicitly stated where he actually resides, but because he will talk in either
Dude,
Poland.
you just went to the Shadow Realm, my guy. Oh my god.
Oh yeah. Whoops.
Hey, you're back. And now you vulgar thrusted for the entire audience to see.
Yeah, that's fine.
For the After Dark stream. Y'all will know about that.
Yeah, my setup needs some work anyway. But Miles DF, right, he got notoriety where he would like charge thousands of dollars in basic bitch commissions. And you're considered to be a part of the Miles DF club if you get one of these commissions. And like up to that point, he's never been known to charge that much for commissions, right? Like he never had notoriety like that before. But he did. And it's sort of like, I've seen his art. It's fine. It's not that great, but it's not that bad either. But it's certainly not thousands of dollars, like, value. This is not a value brand artist, okay? This guy is going to sell you $5,000 for your character here. You pull it right here, like your character right here getting fucked by this person, or like somebody over here gets fucked by this person. And that's your commission right there. And he does predominantly sexy stuff, but he also does non-sexual stuff, which also begs the question why it's still like thousands of dollars. Now, my theory is that people are commissioning him not because he's actually worth that much, but it's like sort of like bragging rights. Like, look how much disposable income I have. I can spend on this. And you know what? Congratulations. If you're going to drop that much money on a simple basic bitch commission, then congratulations. You didn't deserve to have that money in the first place. But yeah, like $5,000. I just like your reaction. I'm like, you wouldn't spend $5,000 on a fucking Miles DF commission, and you're just like, I don't even know who the fuck that is. If you can come to my house right now, and I'd say fuck off. All right.
If you spend $5,000 on anything, it better be cooking, cleaning, rooting, tooting, shooting.
It reminds me of like when Valve came out with its $1,000 index. My first initial reaction was like, okay, is there like a blowjob in this equation somewhere? Because I'm going to be dropping $1,000 on this. There better be a BJ somewhere in the equation. And unfortunately, the most common answer I got was, oh no, you'll be the one giving the BJs when you buy it with like the articulation and shit. I'm just like, oh no! But all right, Maxwell.
Yeah, the Valve, like the Valve headset should have been like those flashlights that you had to shake to charge up.
All right, so Max, you seem like you got a lot to say about artificial intelligence generated art. So go ahead.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. AI is going to be a part of our existence whether we want it to or not. And so you might as well just embrace it. Here's the thing. Before we had automated farming, like machines that farm, we did everything by hand. Sound familiar? So now we're making AI doing the same thing. Now, of course, you're going to have the two sides. People that hate it, and then the people that are like, cool, now I can just make everything.
So the Luddites versus the techies, basically.
Well, your AI is going to be there, and if you don't embrace it, you're going to be left behind the curve, and that's not what you want. You're going to be just left in the dust.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yes, it's going to make lazy people more lazy, obviously. But for people that aren't lazy, for example, an AI right now, if you give it a whole synopsis for a book, like chapters, synopsis for each chapter, it can essentially write you a book. And I mean a 300-page novel. So, for people that make one book a year, this could ease their, creativity process.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The other side of it is, just like with anything else handcrafted, you can go buy an AI-generated avatar for like $20. That, yeah, you'll get exactly what you want, sure, but it won't be like, a branded one. It'd just be like,
a generic
Walmart brand one.
Yeah. So what about the Twitter drama that's sort of like unfolded from all this? Because a lot of people are anti-AI. They have openly like marked people for death, like metaphorically speaking. Hopefully.
These are the same people that are afraid of automated farming. No, they're afraid of technology and where it's going and how powerful it's becoming.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's understandable, but there is no escape. None.
Max, you're only supporting all of this because you want to become part robot. You want to be like a Terminator in the future.
No,
I'm kidding. Jesus.
It's going to be the most best tool you ever had. Okay, there's an AI out now that you can just ask a question about Blender and it will give you an answer.
You
don't have to Google
I need that.
it.
Send that to me right now.
Yeah, send that to me right now.
I'm working on it. So, you don't have to be like, what's this? Do this? How do this? You just go,
Wait.
You just give it your question. How do I mirror a rig? And then it'll be like, oh, do this, and it'll actually walk you through it. You don't have to go through an hour-long Blender tutorial for a 2-second thing you were looking for and wasting hours of your day. No, you just ask it, how do I do this? And it's like, oh, this is exactly how you do this.
I just like how somebody in the chat, they reacted, and it's like, you have been marked for cancellation. Say your goodbyes. because that's pretty...
I'm actually uncancelable because I have 0 social media, so good luck.
Yeah. Well, no, literally, people that were at conventions selling AI-generated artwork, there's multiple ways you can slice this, right? Because some artists have said, hey, I do not consent to my artwork being utilized by whatever X service to feed into it, to be a part of the algorithm.
I got that one, too.
Go ahead.
Did you post it on the internet? Then you already did. Tough cookies.
Yeah, the problem is the internet doesn't forget, but it does beg the question. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, the same people, how everyone was like, oh, the same people that were like, they're crazy. These people say they're gonna put computer chips in us, and fucking the government's gonna track our movements. It's like, well, I mean, you already carry a computer chip in your pocket every day. It's called a fucking smartphone. And the government already knows who you are. It's called a driver's license and a social security number. Yeah, remember when COVID happened and they pushed out all those government stimulus checks? And to get the check, you had to register with the fucking Department of the Treasury and the IRS? Congratulations, now the government knows you exist, even if you never held a job before.
But hey,
and your phone has a GPS on it.
$1,400 is $1,400.
AI that does that. Dude, I bought mad bullets.
Get out of here.
I mess with DALL-E AI all the time. It's hilarious.
All right.
Dude, novel AI's a banger.
So here's the problem, right? People, as they so often do, there is sort of a perception that the artists of fur affinity. That's immediately where I go to, because a lot of these artist types are like furries.
Oh, well, I'm pretty sure it's like apps like outright banned on that site.
Well, yeah,
Sites
yeah.
don't allow AI creation
You're right.
anymore.
Yeah. Well, it feels like a sort of a knee-jerk reaction because, like, okay, so I don't know why, but this kind of reminds me of a situation I had back in the day. You know how the trope is Sonic OCs are ruining a certain community, you know? Like, people will just recolor.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody... This is mad
That
props.
goes with Pokemon too.
Well, that goes with Pokemon too,
Someone's
but...
like, I want a Raichu, but I want it purple and gold, and then it'll...
Yeah, but, like, here's what happened.
I'm sorry. Hey, all you people, you can't have a Pokemon Sona. It doesn't exist. It's just called a Pokemon.
Yeah, and it's also legal property of Nintendo, so Nintendo will send you a cease and desist if you get big enough.
Yep.
I'm sorry, that's just how it goes.
Yeah, basically, you sold your ass to a multi-billionaire.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Fox.
Go ahead.
Okay. So people are usually freaking like crazy because they're like, well, if you type in Dali AI, Wolfie nail, wolf, like couch, right? It will literally output a Wolfie nail wolf on a couch, right? Now,
Damn.
is that stolen from Wolfie nail? No, it's not. It's borrowed from the bazillion of images that were posted online.
See, like, the people that are just mindlessly defending, like,
It's not original.
no,
but,
no.
You know.
But they're defending artists, and I have noticed what Cyberpimp sort of alluded to, where certain artists out in the fandom have grown too influential in some cases. Generally speaking, the fandom's pretty good about sort of outing certain people that have become too big for their britches. I'm talking about the artists that use their clout to sort of like send waves of fucking white knights to go after somebody that they don't personally like. And usually it's for innocuous reasons. And I think that sort of behavior is atrocious. It's like YouTubers making a call to arms to go after certain people. And it's like, that's not what you're supposed to be doing, you know? Like, well, why are you going to sweep all these other people in your bullshit when you have a beef with somebody? That should be like mano a mano. You got beef with them, they got beef with you. And unless they broke the law or did something truly abhorrent like Hero the Wolf did, then that's between you guys. There's no reason that you'd bring other third-party people into this equation. Take that simple premise that I just revealed to you guys. Carte blanche. Artists that would say, I do not support AI art. I do not advocate for my piece of artwork to go into the equation, whatever algorithm fed into this. I do not support it. Blah, blah, blah. They would have, all their fans would go after people that advocated for AI art. And they would have massive debates. And I looked at all of this, and you can tell like a good debate versus a bad debate when people are actually having a conversation about something. They aren't just going at each other's throats or saying, it's bad. And it's like, why is it bad? Because I said so. It's taking work away from an honest-to-God artist. That artist is like losing money out on this deal. And it's just sort of like, the artists can only work so long in the day until they need to stop and eat, drink, sleep, socialize, do whatever they gotta do. And, like, you know, AI art, it's getting pretty good, but it's not going to replace the artist because the AI needs to be fed something eventually to keep it going, you know? It needs something to study.
Oh, it's already fed, though. It's already been fed. Every time someone posts something on Furfinity or, you know, DeviantArt anywhere, the AI will pick it up.
Well, doubling down on the whole like art pricing thing. I was in a conversation not too long ago where an individual was like kind of heated. They're like, "Oh, I can't believe they would do this," and like they came to the chat, it's like, "What's going on?" They're like, "Well, so and so's doing free art." I was like a raffle? They're like, "No, they're just asking people for their OCs and they're drawing."
What?
I was like, so they're just like, and I said, so they're just doing a case by case basis and just drawing and just sketching. They're like, yeah. And I said, well, that's called practice. Like that's called just being a fucking artist. Like not everything you do in life has to result in a paycheck. And this person got butt hurt. I'm talking booty tickled, ass chaff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there was an aspiring artist who actually had pretty good talent who was taking art or making characters, either character development, ref sheets, or just sketching pre-existing characters that people in the chat had and gave to them. But the other artist got mad that because people like this person doing free art or cheap art is taking work away from them. It was like, so your butthurt because someone new is doing your job
for free,
either cheaper or better. Yeah, like I said, I don't know. Like this just goes to show you that you're one person. You like if your talents are so good and your prices are so competitive, why are you afraid that this one person is going to run the market? Why you're like, I don't. It blew my mind that somebody could think like this. And I could kind of understand where they're coming from. Hey, maybe you're in a bad spot. Maybe you're waiting on a commission. Maybe you're trying to pay rent. But at the end of the day, don't price yourself out of customers. Don't like if here's your art, okay? Here's your art. Here's your customers. If your prices are fucking here or here, and your customers are like, I don't know, dude, I can't touch it for that price. Don't get mad when you don't sell.
Yeah.
You know, you might have a beautiful style, and don't get me wrong, both people had awesome styles. I commissioned both people in the past, but the one got upset because the other was getting more business, even though it was wink, wink, free business.
Well, you know, to like piggyback on that,
They're just drawing for fun.
Yeah, no, I've seen that.
They're like, oh, I can't believe it.
There's all this hostility towards like anybody that's trying to make a buck off of AI generated art. There was a guy, they're appearing at conventions right now. It's like, hey, do you want to print? Just tell me what you want. I will feed it into the AI and we'll see what comes out. And like, I just saw like a picture of the artist flipping off like the booth and taking a picture of it, which seems so immature. It just seems like so fucking juvenile, you know? Just be like, fuck you! And I don't know, just like, you know, the money, right? It's just for basic bitch prints. You know, that's like $10 a pop, maybe. Depending on like the materials that go in the print and stuff like that. $10 to $15. I would imagine that the price would go up a little bit more, but still, like, you know, all this hostility to protect the artists. Like you said, the artists that have finite resources to throw around, they don't have all the time in the world to work on shit. By the way, if you guys are wondering why I'm harping on this, it's because that people that would post AI-assisted art or imagery, they would get, like, mobbed by furries. It's always furries, because always furries have to be the most irrational motherfuckers in the room. They are simultaneously the most rational and irrational people that you'll ever meet. But every time that somebody posts like a picture of an art, they get mobbed. Like everybody jumps down their throat. Or like, what the fuck are you doing? You are going contradictory to like the direction that I want this furry fan to go in, and you know you are literally taking money out of a fucking artist's like plate and putting it like on your own by providing free stuff. Like literally, like I'm just imagining Maxwell's about to like eat his lunch. He's about to like take a bite of the burger, and so just grabs like no, it's mine now. And then Max is just like that's okay. I didn't eat it anyway. Go ahead.
Fuck. What was it? It's like the whole like Verizon and AT&T battle.
Yeah.
Like for like cell phone coverage and shit like that. It's like, well, Straight Talk came in and they're like, hey guys, if you come on over to us, we're neutral. We're neutral. So you could bring your phone or you could bring your phone and we'll give you service. And then AT&T and Verizon tried to go to war with Straight Talk.
Yeah.
And because they were cutting in on their business, they're like, wow, they could use an Android, they could use Apple, they could use whatever the hell they want and get the same coverage and same service that we do.
Yeah.
For a fraction of the cost. So they got upset. And then, lo and behold, one thing led to another, and Straight Talk got inevitably bought out by Verizon. So you still get Straight Talk, it's just that Verizon owns it.
How do you guys feel about Verizon?
I would never get them for internet. They're hot dog shit.
What's up?
I got a question for both of you. At a quick glance, that picture I sent you, did an artist draw that or did an AI draw that?
Let's take a look. Can you post it in the chat?
I posted it to you.
I mean,
I know,
I
but
don't know if
in the
I
chat.
can.
Oh. Let me.
that's really clean. I'm not gonna lie. At a quick glance, it looks dead ass like an artist drew it. The only thing, the brow line and the eyes have to get fixed. If the brow line and the eyes were fixed in Photoshop, you would
I can
never
post it
fucking
here.
know.
I don't know if that'll work.
I'm gonna see what happens. All right. Yep, that posted, so it exists somewhere. Everybody, take a look at that. Tell me what you think of the image. It's beautiful. It's courageous. It's amazing. And I'm guessing that a artificial intelligence did that.
Yep.
Awesome. So maybe, like, the fucking hegemony of all the powerful big dick artists and stuff out there will finally get threatened enough out of complacency. Because it feels like some people, they kind of just rest on their laurels. They don't care. And if they get into a quarrel with somebody, it's like, well, have fun commissioning that particular art style. Oh, by the way, I wanted to tell you guys real quick.
Try that one.
Max, Cyber,
Sure.
if you have any finishing statements about artificially intelligent assisted art, we will be moving to our next topic of interests. Imposter
I'm
Mobile.
just saying, this AI is getting better every day. It scares me how powerful it is.
Yeah, I know.
It is getting skilled.
I mean,
I think I
yeah.
found my new desktop background.
The bottom one or the top one?
No, I'm dead serious. This one I'm about to send you, actually.
Okay.
This one.
Let's take a look.
Oh, wait, you're not cyber pimp. Is this the one, I think?
Hey, by the way,
Yeah,
ladies
this
and
one
gentlemen,
has that
this is
background.
an aside, but I'm
Adorable.
convinced that Cyberpimp's Japanese name would be Cyberpimpo. Cyberpimpo.
Here, send the chat the last one.
The last one?
That's
Okay.
pretty fucking good for. Yeah, that's pretty fucking good for an AI, man.
All
I
right.
ain't gonna lie.
Let's send
That's
this.
a nice red fox munching on his tail.
Let's ship this to the chat. Let's see what they say. All right.
Yeah, chat. How do you feel about that image?
Can you send images to YouTube? Is that a thing now?
He's doing a link thing from Discord.
Yeah, you link it and you send it to the chat. So when you get linked something, you can post it in chat. But yeah, fuzzy.
Yeah, he's so fuzzy. He's so fuzzy. He's adorable. He's just munching on his tail.
I feel like you missed your calling being a host of like a kids' TV show. But
Oh, shut up, Rexy. You're just a troll.
but I'm guessing that you wouldn't have the wherewithal to deal with a bunch of kids. It's not no sprats. All right. Hey, Cyber, you good?
Getting there.
All right. Because I actually want to defer to your. So Kaya Wu was curious about an individual in the not the furry fandom, in internet culture at large that's sort of been making some waves. Don't worry, we're gonna end things here in a bit, but let's at least make it to one and then call it a night. But all right. So Cyber, I want you to share your interests in rap music with the rest of the chat. You know, you like Biggie Smalls. You liked listening to some other people that were pretty prominent back in the day, like Tupac, 50 Cent, right?
Yeah, old school rap and hip hop, R&B.
Yeah.
Slaps.
Why don't you talk about a little bit about that? Like, who are some of your favorite artists, and why'd you like them? Like, compare some of them. Because who we're going to be talking about, he's a rapper himself. But nobody you guys have ever heard of.
We've an upcoming rapper in the fandom.
Not in the fandom, but on the internet culture at large. Why don't you go ahead and talk about some of your favorite artists, though?
Is his name Krispy Kreme?
Nope. Sorry, man. It's not even Little Nas. Somebody
see,
else. Go ahead.
First and foremost, Biggie slaps. Like, you can't go wrong with Biggie.
Biggie Smalls.
Even
what about Biggie
Michael
Cheese?
Jackson, King of Pop, can't go wrong with him. Yo,
What-
Biggie Cheese, you better watch out. He'll get you, dude. He'll scare your family.
All right. There's a couple rap songs I really like, but I prefer like 80s, like fucking hip hop, you know? But anyway, all that goes out the
People
window.
don't even know that Eddie Murphy used to rap, dude.
Yeah.
His brother did too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, wait a minute. How do you guys feel about fucking Juggalos.
Fucking? That's so.
You know what juggalos are, right?
Oh, like Insane Clown Posse?
Yeah. Do you
hell
think
yeah.
Never heard that.
Fago? Bust out that Fago, bro.
I know what a gigolo is.
a gigolo? We're not talking about gigolo. We're talking about juggalo. Insane Clown Posse.
No, it's a juggalo.
Insane Clown Posse.
What's a juggalo?
He's like a clown.
Oh, that's a juggalo?
Yeah. They basically paint their faces white and have black. Like, it's almost like my paint job as a panda, but more as a clown.
Like the song Galvanize?
I think so. I'm not too familiar with those guys, but what's crazy about juggalos is, like, years ago, you'll find this in one of my older videos. I went to the Mother of All rallies, which is basically a glorified Trump rally, which only like 50 people showed up. And I went to the Juggalo March because the FBI labeled Insane Clown Posse and the Juggalos as like a gang. Like, they considered them a criminal organization. Now, there are juggalos out there that have conducted crimes and engaged in criminal activity, but I don't think that's fair to, like, paint them with a broad brush and just be like, hey, all you juggalos out there, you're all criminals, you're all in a gang, and the FBI recognizes you as such. So the juggalos weren't very happy about that, so they went to Washington, D.C. to march. And it was funny. At least I thought it was. Anyway, so there's somebody out there on the internet who wants to... He wants to be a professional rapper, okay? And I'm going to send you guys a picture. Well, I want to send you guys a picture of this guy before we continue.
Violent J has a suit.
Violent J has a suit.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to send you guys a picture. I'm going to send the...
I said that.
All right.
That's what it says in the chat.
1 second. I'm going to send this to everybody in the chat too. Let's see. 1 second.
Also, Rexy, I'm quoting Tujo, so blame the panda.
Ha ha. All right. Everybody, this is a caricature of who we're going to be talking about now. I want to get I want to get some visceral reactions from you all. And I guess
that was Cyber's reaction. He just ran away.
Like, yeah, well, I mean, I can't really blame him.
Very proper reaction.
Oh, definitely. Take a look at the guy.
What about my dog Krispy Kreme?
All right, everybody, open that link if you're not afraid of seeing somebody marginally ugly, marginally unattractive. Banana Man.
You're a pink face? What? The fuck? No, Tujo, no, stop it.
Ring,
my
ring.
sanity left.
Ring, 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 ring,
Banana,
ring,
banana,
ring. Banana phone. Doo, doo, doo.
Banana phone.
But in all seriousness, though, look at that. Look at that. Let me see if it posted correctly. Yep.
Yeah, I post fine. I don't want to watch it. It gives me nightmares.
You're not going to watch it. You're just going to look at the picture and tell me what you think of this guy.
Yeah,
because
nightmares.
Because he literally looks like that in real life.
Back on. You scare me.
Well, the reason I'm showing you all a caricature instead of the real picture is because the real picture would probably disturb you all, possibly give you any nightmares out there. I don't want to give anybody here nightmares. But that's what the dude looks like, okay? He's not an attractive man, unfortunately. But ironically, he looks a little bit more attractive when he puts on his getup for his shows. Because he wants to be a fucking rapper, okay? This guy, this man, his name is Cyrax. That's not even his real name, by the way. He stole that from another artist. Cyrax. Show the real picture? You really want to see the real picture? I don't know if you're ready for that.
Are you reading this at all?
Yeah, I am.
You should be reading your chat.
I am. They want to see the real picture.
Rexy wants your attention. Well, Rexy wants your attention.
Well, that's why I don't want their attention. I kid.
Cyber, get your ass back here.
Yeah, seriously. He's getting something to drink.
Drink? Who gets something to drink? Honest.
I'm willing to bet that it's going to be something pretty high for a rabbi. All right, everybody. I'm going to send you the real picture, and you all can tell me what you think of this wonderful individual. He's the real Cyrax. The one and only. The one that's gonna.
There's two of them. Also, if you look hard to the left, you can see me in the video. What? What?
I'm waiting for
What?
Cyberpimp to come back so I can play a little bit of a mean prank on him. I mean, what? Oh my god. I think this is No, this was photoshopped. Okay, I was about to say maybe this is AI generated because we did just talk about that. Hey Kaya Wu, this is a shout out to you, bud, because I think that you want to see this. In fact, I would almost say that you need to see this.
Poor guy got his head stuck in a banister, and that's what happened. You make me sad.
I like a Far Striker's reaction. He's like, my lord, he's amazing. He can't even look in one way. Oh no. His mother must have had a painful birth. Criminal, criminal, criminal.
Jesus.
You guys are being
I
mean.
mean,
Yeah.
they're not wrong, though.
They're not wrong. Okay.
Oh.
So, from what I understand, people consider Cyrax to be the new Christian because Cyrax is like he's basically the definition of an internet tough guy because he gets himself wrapped up in all these internet dramas. Like literally, there's a guy named Marty.
More drama for you.
Well, yes, but he also looks repulsive.
Yes.
Like the dude looks like a fucking character from Fallout 3. He looks like one of the people, the swamp folk from fucking Fallout 3, you know, Point Lookout, where you go down there, and you get all these hicks that come after you
God, he does.
with like lever action
does.
rifles, and they're like, I'm gonna get you. Ah, shoot, missed him, Cletus. And I'm sorry to be an asshole based on how he looks, but at the same time, like, you gotta understand something. The dude is like a goblin.
Can we all just agree he has a van and uses it for nefarious
Well, you know, what's funny that you say that is because he actually did fuck a 14-year-old blind girl.
No!
Yeah, well.
Nope. We have to use the escapo.
It's the purple guy from Five Nights at Freddy's voice testing. Oh my god.
Jesus fuck.
See, Kaiwu, that would be hilarious.
Where do you find this shit? Where the hell do you find this shit, dude?
I didn't. He posted.
You just go, hey, internet, show me the ugliest thing
no,
you have. And
no,
it's like,
no.
Yeah, I got you.
The guy
I got
started.
you, fam.
The guy started posting videos like no tomorrow because every time he gets into an internet beef with somebody, he has to be like on top of it. He has to be right.
Oh,
and
does he do diss tracks? Does he do diss tracks?
not to my knowledge, I don't think he's smart enough for that.
He doesn't. He's
All right.
He doesn't do diss tracks.
No. All right, Cyberpimp.
Yo, you do this track to the wrong person.
Cyber.
you get clapped,
Shh. All right, Cyber, sit down and look at the chat. I want you to start clicking those links up there that I posted, all right?
bro. I don't know. My great mammy told me not to click no sussy ass.
I want you to look at those links, and I want you to tell me what you think, okay? Like, of this person. What they look like, how they act, what they look like.
Kelly, that's the perfect answer right there.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
What is a Reddit Cyrax address? What is this?
Just click them and look at it. Look at the person. Tell me if that's not a beautiful angel.
A rapper?
Well, they're...
Who is this?
They're just... Like... Audience, help me out here. Would you consider Cyrax to be like a rapper, or would you consider them to be a wannabe rapper? Because it could go either way at this point. But yeah, go ahead, Cyber.
Oh boy, it's
Who is that? Tell me.
like a. It's like
Mushy mushy.
It's like a little Freddy Krueger in the making.
It's a little Freddy Krueger in the
He's gonna wear
maker.
a stupid red sweater, and he's gonna get in the fire, and he's gonna be Freddy Krueger.
It's mind you, it's not the real Freddy Krueger. It's a little Freddy Krueger, and he's gonna start messing with people's dreams and nightmares.
Band. A
Um,
hospital band around their wrist.
they keep getting bitten.
Something happened. Do we know?
Well, they keep getting bitten and eaten alive by bed bugs because his living situation's pretty atrocious. By the way, so Cyrax, what I know about the dude is he's been living with his Meemaw for a while, and her name's Sally.
Meemaw.
Yeah, his grandma, and she like,
Meemaw.
Well, she took basically she took sympathy on him, took pity on him because both of his parents are out of the picture. Dude, his fucking father is a pedophile, convicted, in jail right
Oh,
now.
for fuck's sake!
So
Let me
I'm
guess, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
well, that's what I'm saying. My question is, obviously, if you're a shitty father, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna be a shitty son or daughter. But
You must continue the legacy. No, that's bad. Never.
that is horrible. Okay, so in what cases does like the father's bad actions carry over to the son? Because in Cyrax's case, like he openly talked to people.
Oh my God, Rex!
He openly talked to people that were like, for instance, people online, they baited him and they're just like, hey, I'm a 14-year-old girl. You want to talk to me? Send me your nudes. And Cyrax sends them naughty bits, like the picture of his pus-infested penis. And yeah. And he's like, his reaction is that he'll scream the opposition to death, you know? Like he'll scream them to death. Like
I
if
sent
he's
someone pictures of my blue-footed boobies.
your blue-footed boobies.
It's a bird.
Oh, yeah. Pfft. Well, anyway, going back to Cyrax. Cyrax has been somebody that wants to get into the rap scene, and his father's in jail. I don't know what about the mother, but he lives with his Mima, and he's actually hit her before and got cops called on him. Like, I don't know what happened that, like, you know, she said or did that prompted him to sock her one, but he fucking hit his mom. And it's like, you can't be doing that. You can't hit your Mima. You can't hit your fucking grandma.
Yeah, exactly. Not your Mima. You can't hurt your Mima.
Hell no, y'all do that. I put your hand in this fire.
Yeah. And Cyrax just did it because nothing's sacred in the fucking like household. So, surprisingly, Cyrax has actually had past girlfriends, right? Like, we had somebody that we colloquially refer to as the Claw because she was missing an arm. It had a claw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think Rex is right though. I think one of the
That's
things
pretty
was,
metal.
Sappho was involved in that. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised, but obviously your dating standards are going to either decrease or increase based on a combination of your personality and your demeanor, right? Like or an appearance and your upbringing.
Nature and nurture.
True.
Failed him apparently.
Well, he lives in atrocious conditions and like I don't know. Like from what I remember, he had a deformed dick. Maybe it was just pus filled because of the fucking bed bugs.
Oh, okay, I. How old is Rex again? Are we really okay? I'm getting. No, stop it.
Rex just says inappropriate
I don't wanna
things
hear
for a
about it.
14 years old. But anyway,
I don't want to hear.
it's fun. So anyway,
You know what? You keep that to yourself. I'm just gonna sit over here quietly.
well, Cyrax would post pictures of himself, you know, flexing for the ladies because he wants to attract attention to himself. And listen, this is the same guy who's challenged people to come to his house for a bare knuckle brawl fight. And every time
Seriously?
he fucking hides. Yeah. Yeah. And like
come over for a beer though. It'd be like, damn, you ugly, but let's make you look better.
you do not want to go to his house, all right? Oh wait.
It was a joke.
14-year-old in question isn't actually 14. She faked her age to see if Cyrax would do what his dad would do. And the answer is yes. Through and through. But anyway, yeah.
It may not surprise you, but yes.
Yeah. Cyrax just he puts on like a show, and he initially was working with a guy named Marty, and Marty supposedly was going to like help him get into the biz, right? Teach him how to like put on shows, make some music and stuff like that. But Cyrax did everything in his power to fuck the relationship over. Like for instance, Marty entrusted him with like dog tags that was sort of supposed to be like a sign of trust and compassion and like allegiance to him, and he fucking threw it in the water. Made like a fucking apology video later and was just like, I'm sorry. And the name Cyrax isn't even Cyrax's to begin with. He stole it from the same rapper dude. What ends up happening is, like, there's this group, right, called the Bender Boys. Probably a fake group, but
Oh, Lord.
the Bender Boys. Yeah, the Bender Boys. They picked up his, like, album, and they're going to, like, vouch for him, and he's going to have, like, a contractual deal with the Bender Boys and go on his way to become an actual rapper. Well, unfortunately, the Bender Boys, quote-unquote, sold his contract to somebody else, a.k.a. Marty, when it was found that Cyrax wasn't exactly profitable. And Cyrax fell for it. Like, he actually thought all of this was real. And he, like, comes out with, like, a lack leather jacket, like, his supposedly $400 smartphone and sunglasses. And he's just, like, saying, everybody's gonna be picked up. I'm picking you up, Maxwell. I'm picking up you, Cyber Pimp. Everybody. We're gonna move on up. We're all gonna be successful and profitable and have a good time. And, man, was Cyrax disappointed when he found out all of it was fake. And just,
I'd imagine.
yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of like Christian when Clyde Cash was fucking with him and saying that Nintendo was interested in having, like, Sonichu in Animal Crossing and, like, other forms of media. And Christian fell for it so hard, he actually emails, like, real Nintendo and says, hey, I just wanted to talk about, us making this into an actual video game. And Nintendo sent him back a real response. Like, they didn't know anything of what was going on. They're just like, hey, we looked at this, and there's no way that we could possibly make this to a game. Like, Sega would have to be involved, and, like, please stop bothering us unsolicited. Could you imagine? Like, yeah, like Christian.
But the actually got back a letterhead from Nintendo.
Yeah, because, well, no, I think it was like emails. He didn't, like, this wasn't one of those helper, like, sites, probably from the US. And, like, the trolls fed him, like, an elaborate series of, like, lies, saying that Reggie was actually waiting for Christian at the train station, waiting to pick him up to go back to, like, Nintendo of America to talk about all this. The whole, like, Cyrax thing kind of reminds me of that, when Cyrax actually thought he was going to get a record deal and make an album and be, like, popular, and finally all of his hopes and dreams would come true. But no, like, he has the bad habit of not shutting the fuck up. Like, he'll get into internet slap fights with people, but when he's actually in a Discord call, he'll just keep screaming till the heavens. And I'm surprised that his, like, grandma doesn't come in the room and tell him to shut the fuck up. Because he thinks that if he's loud and he keeps repeating the same thing over and over again, he's right, And that's not how it works, So the people just fuck with him. And even fucking his, like, grandma told him, hey, it's all make-believe. Nobody's threatening this family. He said recently that somebody shot a shotgun blast at the house, which I think is bullshit. Yeah. There's no reason. Like, especially with his Aunt Sally there. Or, like, Sally's the grandma.
Ma, I tell you what.
Well, it reminds me of this dude called the Doctor of Common Sense, where he was talking about, like, if the politicians wanted to fuck over society tomorrow, what they would do is, like, first, no more cigarettes. Like, no more cigarettes or coffee. Now, the good news here is that Starbucks is finally going to go out of business. But that's about all the good news you're going to get. Now, like, and the second is, like, no more medications that stabilize you from being antipsychotic or anything like that. None of that. All that's banned. And the third thing is, like, no more cigarettes. Now, it's not going to be the young people going out there to pull and drive-by, shooting up the place. It's going to be the motherfucking old people that are just like, you go see your Uncle Bob pulling a drive-by. You go see your Meemaw pulling a drive-by. And you're going to see your fucking Aunt Harold, like, pulling a drive-by, all because nobody can't get no damn cigarettes, no damn coffee. And, like, he's just like, now I got myself a little stash. I'm going to be really wealthy after all this. Fucking A. That'd be weird. Anyway, what time is it? It's 12:41. How much time we got on the clock? Because I want to stretch this at least 3 hours. We're already above. Okay, we're at 3:23. So
Yeah, I'm fading fast.
yeah, it's all right. We're gonna pull the plug here. Grab something to eat. Okay, everybody in the chat room.
One of y'all's getting 8.
Shh. Nah. Okay, I'm gonna pull the party wagon out back, and we're gonna like all make a trip to Waffle House so we can all do a Super Smash Brothers style brawl with the people that work there. And the worst thing about that, what I was telling you about, you remember Fallout, Max Cyber, like.
Oh hell yeah, dude.
I like the picture of the overseer, like looking in, like at the vault dweller, and it's just sort of like he's wearing a Waffle House hat. And he's like, "You're a hero, but I'm afraid you have to leave." It's just like,
Yep.
a fucking Waffle House, dude. I think society.
Waffle House is officially an SCP.
Yeah, I believe that. Well, what about the fight at Walmart with like the two families that went at it? Do you guys remember that?
Oh, dude, there's fights in my Walmart all the time, dude. I live
What,
in
the
a
Hatfields and McCoys?
Oh, I know what I need to do. I need to dress up in like football armor and act like I just got out of like practice, and just go there with my video camera right in the thick of the action and be recording it all, and just be like, "What? I literally just got out of practice, man. Like I'm just wearing my fucking football armor because I just got out of practice, yo. I was just here to catch the fucking lowdown of what's going on." But no, like I'm seeing this happen more often. Do you guys think this is sort of like sign of the times, or do we just have ready access to the information and we should not be concerned because this happens on the daily? Because I'm kind of scared for the future of our society.
No, see, here's
Not me,
the
dude. I
thing.
embrace it.
No, here's the thing. We have access to all of the information. The problem is, this is no longer the time of checking facts. This is the time of instant reaction without fact checking.
Mm-hmm.
No one wants to fact check because, I don't know, it takes energy. And instead of saying, let me look that up because we can, we're like, he said this, we have to do this now.
In that same line, I feel like people can't critically think, because if you critically think, then you're wasting time and the waste of time and energy comes in the reaction to whatever happens, be it like a celebrity, like, saying something stupid, or, and like, that's why so many edits appear to make people look dumb. But no, continue this. This is compelling. Continue. Because this happens.
No, that's the problem, is that we have instant access to any information we want, but people are more satisfied with joining the bandwagon without checking the information. And that's just how our society is run right now. Someone who has a lot of followers and influence could just go, that person over there is a pedophile. And they can have zero proof, but all millions of their followers will be like, they're a pedophile! And don't even care to check, fact check it. There is no fact checking anymore. That's not a thing.
Oh, you know what's
It's a
even
follow the
worse?
leader type of deal.
Well, you know what's even worse than that? It's the fact that, like, when they're proven wrong, like, empirically, then they will never admit it. It's easier to pull teeth than, like, to admit that you're wrong. Because, remember, this is the internet.
Oh, yeah.
You can't be wrong unless you don't have enough followers to substantiate.
You're wrong, and all millions of my followers say you're wrong. So I'm right.
That's a dangerous precedent set, don't you think?
But that's our society, and that's how it is now. You can have an influencer say gravity doesn't exist, and they will wholeheartedly believe that until the heat death of the universe.
Nah, man.
And they can still drop an apple, and somehow gravity will work.
Well, no, what's going to happen is if Logan Paul says it, then the apple's going to fall like halfway until it realizes that what he said, so it's just going to suspend there. And then it'll start rotating around the fattest person in the room, because that's how gravity works. It's got a rotational, like Family Guy. I'll pass it along. Well, could you imagine if that's what happened with fat people? Like, they're fat, but they're dense. So, like, the density draws whatever small objects are around them. So it's just, like, starts establishing an orbit around them. Cyber, you got anything on your mind before we start to pull the plug and wrap things up here?
Don't get high on your own supply.
I mean, that's pretty sound advice if you're a drug
Fair
dealer.
point.
Yeah.
Fair point.
What about you, Maxwell?
It's got a point.
Oh yeah, don't sell your own AI art.
God damn.
Technically, it is art by definitionary standards.
Yeah.
We made the AI. The AI makes the art, so technically we did make it. No, but on what Cyber said, embrace AI. It's not going away, and it's only getting stronger. We already have AIs that can make full-length books and full-length animated features. So, yeah. Embrace the future. In 10 years, handcrafted 3D models will be the premium thing.
Hell yeah, yo.
You know, let's before we pull the plug officially here, let's talk about that for a moment. I'm not asking you guys to, talk about the situation here like I have said privately to people that are outside of the span of VR chat, but you guys both know how it basically is. And I remember a time here where basically it was years ago, you and I first met. And I was that weird, crazy cuckoo man that said, "Oh, Maxwell, would you like to be a part of my film project?" And it was downhill ever since. I kid. But there's been several... Well, there's been several changes in what I perceive as VR chat culture, or VR chat, the community here. What passes for a community. Predominantly the furry community, because I'm going to be honest with you, some weebs don't like me, but a lot of weebs just treat me like any other player. But here's the thing. The perception I have, it's not like that wholesome 100 sort of fun time where everybody's cracking wise, having a good time together, goofing off, just having fun for fun's sake. Nowadays, it's a lot more segregated. And I know that's a dirty word, but I say that because people will ensure and they will drive it home to their friends and say, hey, we are going to look out for each other as a group, and we do not allow anybody outside of the group to infiltrate or become a part of this group. And it's kind of gate-checked a lot of people.
Just like Second Life.
Well, see, Maxwell, you already had the writing on the wall. You already knew it was going to come. You've seen it happen before.
I knew what was going to happen. I knew exactly that UAC was going to happen 5 years ago. I knew that they were going to pull that. I knew that.
I'm just imagining you're that crazy old...
People would log in, have mods.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Yeah, that's what people looked at me. They're like, nah, they're not going to add easy anti-cheat. Why would they add easy anti-cheat?
No. The way you say it is
are you serious?
It's like that crazy old man. It's like, yeah, the UFOs came down. I seen them. No, that's more like Cyberpunk.
Exactly.
All right.
No, but seriously, 5 years ago, I'm like, I know they're going to drop EAC. It's just a matter of when, not if. And what do you know?
See, Kelly Shea, you wouldn't know this, but there are people here that would basically be e-prostitutes. I'm not gonna...
What are you talking about?
I'm not gonna drop names or anything like that, but I'll just say that people have admitted to me that they've been blackmailed into doing things that they didn't want to do in the virtual space. I'm not...
Fire jump scare.
I'm not privy to talking about what happens here, beyond what you see, but things have happened here with certain people. The weebs are no better. No one else is really, squeaky clean in that sense, but at the same time, we sort of lost an entire denomination of time, spending time here over the years, just having a good time, spending time with each other. And, people, one, they change over time. Two, they get a inflated sense of ego where they feel more important than they actually are. For no reason other than having a shiny ass avatar and at best, a passable personality. I'm sure you guys have seen that.
It's all a circle jerk. It's all a circle jerk at this point. Just like Second Life. It's all a circle jerk. That's all it is.
That's why I hate
echo chambers for people to make their beliefs what they think is right, Ryan. That's all it is.
Well, that's why I absolutely
echo chamber.
True, but that's why I absolutely hate the phrase oh, you're such a good bean. You're such a good bean. Because the only motherfuckers I've ever seen or heard that actually happen with were usually like one shitty person saying that to another shitty person to excuse the bad actions they had undertaken.
Hell yeah.
That is
I
a
tell
phrase
you
I
what, you're a good
100%
bean right there.
despise.
Ting, bow, wow.
And it's just like, that would be like, oh, Maxwell, we're such good bros, right? Like, and in the context I say that, it's like we're such good friends that we've seen it all, we've been there, we fought the war, we survived. But like in some cases, the self-congratulatory bullshit gotta go out the window. You gotta face, like,
That's why I said it's a circle jerk. That's what it is nowadays. Nothing but a
Unfortunately.
circle jerk. And to say it's not is just being ignorant.
Well, here's the problem with that. You can't say it
dude, it's
openly.
It's like
Circle
saying
jerk.
there's no race. Well, it's like saying there's no racism in the South. It's like, of course there is. And there's like, it just is what it is. Elitism and circle jerks. That's what it is. Just like Second Life. I'm telling you, they went exactly the same path. Identical.
Goddamn.
So-
better watch out for that cancel culture.
Next time we pick this up, I
Can't cancel
definitely
the fox.
next time I pick this up, I definitely want to go down that line. But like before we cut it for tonight, why the need for like control over who your friends hang out with and stuff like that? Why can't?
Because that's the only control in life that they have. So they're going to abuse the fuck out of it. Apparently their real life sucks so bad that they have to go to a virtual game to get the same type of, control that they should have in their real life. They probably live in their, and this is not an insult, they probably live in someone's basement, probably their parents or grandparents, live off the, the government, and this is their only escape. Instead of actually doing something good for themselves, living on their own, finding a actual fulfilling job like the rest of society, no, they rather just live in perpetual depression, and VR chat's the only escape. Like, okay, there's two types of people: the people that live on VR chat and the people that play VR chat. And you will instantly know who's who.
And then there's the people
If
like
someone-
me that don't understand VR chat.
No, you guys are in
Green
VR
when I
chat.
try to upload stuff.
No,
One time
you
I
play
changed my
VR
eye
chat.
color. I turned my eye colors red to green one time only, and it's like I had a master's degree. Like the heavens opened up and I saw a golden light. It was a
Oh
beautiful feeling.
no! All right. Well, hey. So Second Life still exists, and Second Life is kind of
course.
like maybe the
Always
canary.
will.
Well, maybe it's the canary in the coal mine. What ended up happening on Second Life that you feel like is yet to happen here on VR Chat to its fullest degree?
Nah, pretty much is where it is. It will just essentially. Here's the thing: people leave Second Life to come to VR Chat. People leave VR Chat to go to Second Life.
Yeah.
And Second Life is more of a, it's more of like an antisocial type of place, ironically. And VR Chat's a lot more like in person. In Second Life, you're behind the screen and, your text, you use text, you don't voice.
Yeah.
There's no one-to-one. It's all like, character do this. Always third-person control. So
Right.
here on VR Chat, it's for people that, want to do stuff. Now, that's just the way it is. But, like, I don't know, man.
I
VR
remember.
Chat's kind of,
Good.
doing his thing.
True. I remember an encounter I had back at the furry hub. Two non-furries were present, and they were just asking furries innocuous questions, like saying, "Hey, what got you into furry fandom?" And they admitted to me that I was the only one to talk to them, because like all the other furries are just like either would block them outright or would be like, "Fuck you! Get the fuck out of here!" And I'm just like, whoa, where is all this hostility coming from? And I just told them, well, as a kid growing up, I always had this affinity towards walking, talking animal people, like, Robin Hood, the reruns that my father would play for me, and then later when I grew older, Star Fox and SWAT Cats and shit like that on TV. And they're not being assholes about it. They're just like nodding and agreeing, saying like this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And then later they're just like,
They're genuinely curious.
yeah, they were doing it as like a recorded bit because, they wanted to interview furries. But then they told me they're like, yo, why are some of your fellow furries just kind of hostile, and I just explained to them, I'm going to imagine that after years of being fucked with by like various people here in VR chat, they have like a zero tolerance policy where they're just going to go off the rails on like whoever. It could be like somebody offering them $1 million. They're going to be like, fuck you, fuck your mother. And I just was like aghast. I'm like, dude, that is not the impression.
They're not battle hardened. They're not battle hardened. They're wussies that got the shit kicked out of them, and now they don't know how to stand back up. Trust me, that's the other side of it. You be on long enough, even on Second Life, you're gonna get torn apart, and that's just the reality of the situation. So you toughen up. You realize, why should I even care what this person says? And stop taking everything personal. And next time when someone says something, you'll just shrug it away. Then when someone actually asks you, like, people come up to me and are like, it'll be someone who's like brand new, still on a Steam account, being like, may I ask you like a question about like, why are you a furry? Yeah. And it's just, they're honestly curious. They're just like, I don't know, why a furry? Why not an anime? Why, And I just tell them, I don't know, I like foxes. Foxes are cool,
And then you tell them, like, why aren't you? And then they're just like, you're all right, Maxwell.
It's just, I mean, I run into people like that all the time that have thin skin, and I just laugh at them. And it's like, dude, you got to toughen up. You're on the internet. You cannot have thin skin on the internet.
Oh, that's another thing I was going to mention. A lot of people that gave me shit for being a furry usually wound up being furries themselves later. And like...
Oh, yeah. No, yeah.
Oh shit! Yo, being bullied in school, dude, that was lit.
Like, people ask me all the time, like, furry questions. The next thing I see them, they're a furry. I'm like, oh, well, looks like you took the plunge.
They were converted. That's all it is. Furries are a cult. We already run your internet, and in the future, we're gonna run society. And we'll all go to shit.
I've been through it.
And
all.
the FAA, and the TSA, and the CIA,
and the ATF,
FBI, and the IRS. Yep.
You say that now, sexy Rexy.
When you go to the DMV and you see the funny fox badge that the person's wearing.
All right.
My favorite thing to do is go to a public world and listen to some of the things the kids say. It's hilarious. Go to hell for a fag. Yep, heard that about 14 billion times about 15 years ago. Do you want to try something new?
Nah, man. We need.
I roll up to people.
Yeah,
and
that insult's
like,
older than you.
Wait. Who's that artist that drew a response where there's like there's two furries fucking in hell, and it's just like, we will.
Exactly.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, we'll fucking hell. It's warm down here. Come on, join the fun.
Oh man. All right.
Whoa.
It's 1:00. I think this is about as best the time as we're gonna call it, but
I need a little revive.
You need a little bit more than that. You need to fucking we need a defibrillator on hand in case Cyberpimp goes off the walls again. Just like convulsing on the ground from like something I tell him. All right. Anyway, like I said before, from now on we're gonna be doing live streams at least once a month, sort of a recap of whatever current events or things that come to mind that can possibly be talked about. I invite you all to come on back anytime you feel like. Usually it's going to be a rotation with me, Cyberpimp, Maxwell, Arctasia, when he can actually show up. And we'll carry through for about 3 to 4 hours, give or take. I think 3.5 is a good number. But in any case, I really appreciate you all coming out here to join us and be exposed to all of this cringe and bullshit that I could possibly expose you to in that duration of time. Whatever off-the-wall, disjointed thoughts that possibly came to mind. And I'll probably be taking these episodes and making highlights out of them. But if nothing else, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your night or morning, whichever the case may be. Till next time, guys, take care and peace. I hope you all have a better one. Good night, everybody. Say goodnight, Cyber.
I did. I cooked them delicious. I could still hear the screams.